me. Okay, Dante says me. Yesenia, Lisa, Dion, Denise, Telora. Okay, I see y'all. If you're brand new and you missed yesterday, put new in the chat. And we're not judging. I just want to know who we got that's new. We just put new in the chat if you were not here yesterday and you missed it and you're like, oh no, I missed day number one. It's okay. Look at all that. Look at all this team. Look at all the new faces we have in the room. Chastity, good to see you. Alana. Good to see you, Tanya, Steven. Good to see you, Cherie, Adrian. Welcome in. So if you're here and this is your first time being in the room, we just want to say welcome. We have a lot in store for you all. And I just want to take a few minutes to recap what we've done up until this point, what we've actually achieved. And so yesterday we kicked off with a powerful, powerful message from Terica about the mindset you need as an investor, right? And then we had Corey Jack come up, and Corey talked about your business formation and how you need to make sure your business is set up when you get into real estate so you can protect yourself and protect your assets. And then we had Asia Irvin come in and she talked about the power of wholesaling and how if you are here and you're just ground level, don't have much capital, how wholesaling could be the way for you to build up your capital so you can go pay for properties and do buy and hold and fix and flips and things of that nature. Okay. So today, though, we're gonna be talking about some money. Everybody put money in the chat. Everybody put money in the chat. If you're ready to learn a little bit more about some funds, how you can get some funding for your real estate business, I'm excited for you guys to be here. Okay, I see y'all putting money in the chat. So we have Terica is going to come up and lead another charge for us. She's going to be doing a phenomenal job as always. We have Hunter Thompson coming in the room talking about raising capital. We also have Derek, one chain, gold chain. Hey, listen, this dude, one chain is always in here giving out straight gems, y'all. Inner Circle knows that he's like a hidden gem, and so he's gonna be in today teaching as well. But listen, this is what I need from everybody to do. As this room fills up, I need your cameras on. I see so many people with their cameras off. And T, she has to have the energy. She has to have the energy. So good to see Charmaine and Lakeisha and Latrice. And Susan's back. Susan knew I was going to call her out, didn't she? She knew I was going to shout her out. What's up, Susan? Good to see you. Who else we got in the room here? We got Tatiana, Kanika. We got, let's see, Sharon and Bettina and Carrie. So go ahead and get those cameras on. And then let me know real quick. Let's take a quick inventory. Who here has a pen and paper? Let me see. Hold it up to the camera if you came prepared. Hold it up. Hold it up to the camera if you came prepared. Jamila, you come prepared? She's like, I'm getting to my computer right now. CJ came prepared. What's up? All right, you guys can put those down. I love it. So we're going to go through this information fast. And just a reminder, these classes that we're hosting this week, there are right, 2 or 3 hours. So we're going to hang out for a while together, okay? So make sure you have your camera on, pen and paper, and just block out distractions for the next 2 to 3 hours. Now, I do want to congratulate so many people jumped in to the 5-day property challenge last night. If you were here and you jumped into the 5-day property challenge, just put invested in the chat if that was you. I just want to salute everybody who jumped in and said, you know what? I'm ready to go that next step with Terica. I'm ready to get mentored. I'm ready to make real estate a skill that I build in 2026. Pauline says invested. I love it. I love it. So many of you all did. We just want to congratulate you all. So just a reminder, at the very end of today, Terica will be talking about that, or maybe throughout her presentation, she may talk about it for those of you all that are new here, because we want to make sure you have that opportunity available for you. Okay. Now, lastly, everybody like free gifts, right? Anybody in here like free gifts? I got some big news. I got some big news. Everybody put big news in the chat real quick. Everybody put big news in the chat. I got some big news. Now, Britt, are we ready? Are we ready for me to drop the big news? Because I got something big, something we're opening up. We only do like twice a year. And we're opening up the doors tonight. And you're like, Michael, what do you mean? Whew. There's gonna be some people that missed this announcement, so I'm gonna talk about it at the very end. But about twice a year, Terica opens up something called her ownership grant, where she gives away $2,500 for one person to kickstart their real estate journey. Who in here would love to be selected for a chance to win $2,500 so you can kickstart your real estate journey? Okay, so what we did is we wanted to present the opportunity for you all to apply first. Can we give you all the link so you guys can apply first? Is that okay? Can we do that? Like, the public doesn't even know this is open right now. I'm gonna be honest, open, and transparent with you. The public, they don't even know what's going on in this room. But I talk with Terica, I talk with Britt, I talk with Derek, I say, hey, we should let them apply first. So here's the deal. We're not announcing the winner until closer to the 5-day property challenge here in a couple months, but we want you to have the first chance to apply so we can see your applications first. So the team is going to drop a link in the chat. They just did it. If you go to ownershipgrant.com, as a gift for you showing up here today on time, as a gift for you being here with your camera on, we wanted to let you have first dibs to apply for this grant that we do twice a year. You can go to ownershipgrant.com. And when you go to that site, you're going to go ahead and fill out a quick little questionnaire, and you're going to go to a confirmation page, which allows you to submit a video. Okay. You can submit a video to us sharing why you feel like you should be chosen. You don't have to do the video today because you're right here, you're talking to me, but later tonight or tomorrow, you can go check your confirmation email and you can go in and actually go and submit your video later. Is that cool? You guys excited to go apply? Your first dibs for you guys. I'm excited. So if you're gonna apply, just put applying in the chat so we can shout you out and we can salute you. But guys, that's one gift I want to give to you guys. If you hang to the very end of today, I may give away some more swag. I may give away some more merch. So make sure you hang around till the very end. All right. Make sure you're not leaving out early. You may miss on some very crucial information. All right. So go apply for that. But while you're applying for that, I'm going to go ahead and welcome up Terica to the stage. You guys know Terica brings the energy. She brings the heat. She's going to be kicking off today's conversation. And so, but while you guys are applying for that, the team is going to go ahead and they're going to play a quick video to get the day started. So team, let's go ahead and play.
For future grandchildren, this is your grandmother, Terica. One day as you walk through our communities, you will see signs, street signs, with your parents' names on them. I want you to understand something. Those signs didn't just show up. We fought for them. It was hard, and we had to be the first to pioneer. We had to be the first to go places we were never expected to go. There was not one door open, nor was there a handout. But God had already sent his angels before us, clearing the path so that anyone who comes after us would be able to stand just a little bit taller. You will never have to get it out the mud. You will be able to start where we finished. Your parents and you one day will stand on the shoulders of those who refuse to give up. So don't ever let anyone tell you what you cannot do. Keep that mindset that says, watch me. Roll up your sleeves and get it done, even when it feels impossible. And listen, since the beginning of time, there has always been haters. There has always been snakes, people who whisper, people who criticize, people who doubt, people who would try to pull you down. And even what's worse is family who don't want to see you win. They will outcast you and they will make you feel like you do not belong. But don't let that discourage you. If anything, take it as a sign that you're doing something right. With your head held high, I want you to dream as big as you possibly can and carry the strength of every generation that came before you. We love you, Grandma T. Hey, welcome back to day 2. Somebody drop day 2 in the chat if you guys are excited to be here. I'm super excited to get started today. Yesterday, whenever we signed off, I had this nudging on my heart that there were some people who were overwhelmed, right? Drop in the chat, drop a 1 in the chat if you felt like you were just so overwhelmed yesterday, all of the information, all of these different formulas we gave you. It was just a lot to take in, and it kind of fed into the fear that you have of not even wanting to get started because you don't want to do it wrong, but you really want to know exactly where to start at. And with all the tools and all of the strategies we gave you guys yesterday, it was just a bit too much because you're still stuck at the same spot you were yesterday, and you have not taken action and or made a decision to be able to walk with me and my team. And so it was nudging me And I felt like I wanted to come in today and I wanted to address the elephant in the room. I wanted to be able to set the stage tonight for you to know that it is okay with how you feeling and what you are feeling. Like you're not an outcast, you're not alone. And if you allow me, I want to be able to rewind it back just a little bit. You guys learned yesterday about you learned about wholesaling, you learned about the Burr method, you learned about entities, and yes, that's a whole lot of things. But I know the reason why you came back today is because you are serious about figuring this out. If that is you, put me in the chat. I am back for day 2 because I am serious about figuring this out. It tells me real estate is still on your mind. It tells me you're still looking for your next step. And it tells me there's a part that does not want to stay where you are. How many of you are just sick and tired of being exactly where you are? And you're like, you know what? I don't want to be here anymore, but I don't want to take the wrong steps. Like I've made enough wrong steps, Coach T, where right now I know that I have to make a faith decision, but for whatever reason, I'm still crippled. If that is you, just put me in the chat right now because I want to be able to address those pain points because a lot of the times we keep on moving and, you know, I would say that it's not fair to leave you behind if you still got a few of those pain points. So tonight, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be teaching you guys how to start buying real estate for a few $100s. If you're excited about that, put some fire in the chat. And before I do that, and before all these other guest speakers come on, and they're going to be talking some heavy real estate talk, because although you may not know the lingo yet, I'm going to give it to you as if you know it, and you write it down and you take notes. Because during the 5-day property challenge, you're going to be able to monetize, and you're going to be able to understand it just a little bit more, right? And so I want to spend time on things that's keeping you from moving. Not because I know you're lazy. I don't think you're lazy. I don't think you're incapable, right? There's some specific reasons, and I want to name the top 3. You know, these were the top 3 for me when I think about how I got started and kind of like what kept me crippled. And then I think about all the students that go through our coaching program and how they, you know, I take them from being stuck and then bringing them on this journey and what all of that entitled. And so tonight I want to go through those 3 reasons, right? Usually it's one of these 3 reasons. You don't know where to start, you don't have enough money, or you scared of making the wrong mistake. So in the chat right now, I want you to drop number 1 if you do not know where to start. If you like Coach T, I do not know where to start. I am that launcher you was talking to last night. A launcher is someone who owns between 0 to 4 doors, and they're just trying to figure it out in real estate. A builder is someone who owns 5 to 20 doors, and they're looking to scale. And a Titan is someone who owns 20 plus doors and they're looking to get to 100 plus doors, right? So if you're like, I don't know where to start, that's where you drop number 1. Drop number 2 in the chat if money is what's stopping you. If money is what's stopping you from taking your next step, drop a 2 in the chat right now. And the third thing that I always hear and I see a lot is the fear of making the wrong move. Like you don't want to make a mistake, right? Put 3 in the chat if that's you. I want your honest answer because that is what I want to deal with tonight. That's what I want to address. That's what I want to talk about, right? So for those of you who say, Coach T, I don't know where to start. First, not knowing where to start, it's normal. Somebody put I'm normal in the chat, right? A lot of the times that's because you're trying to take in so much information at one time. You're hearing about rentals, you're hearing about Airbnbs, you're hearing about creative financing, you're hearing about developments, you're hearing about mobile home parks, you're hearing about house hacking and how it feels like you need to know each and every last one of these different strategies that we're teaching you before you can do anything. The truth is you do not need to know all of that. You do not need to learn all of the real estate right now, the different legs, the different parts of it. You need to understand what makes sense for you. So what made sense for me when I first got started, I didn't have no $100,000. I didn't have 50, heck, I didn't even have $10,000, okay? For those of you who know, I used my $5,000 tax return. I started exactly where I was. So you need to understand that your path may look a little different than someone else's path. But it's not for you to compare your path to them. It's for you to start exactly where your path is. And for you, that is what's going to help you stop being stuck. So I want you to type in the chat right now, start. I'm going to start. I don't have to know all the different parts of real estate. I just need to choose one path that's going to be within my lane, and that's what I'm going to focus on right now. And then I got some that's money is the issue, right? Money is the issue. I can tell you this. I have seen so many investors get involved in real estate deals with the knowledge that they have. Frederick Douglass says, knowledge makes us unfit to be a slave. I have watched people in my Circle of Investors program have $0 and come to the table and get involved in a deal because of all of the education that we have taught them. Somebody say, my gift will make room for me. My gift will make room for me. I may not have money, but my gift may be needed inside of the room, and that's going to be my entryway inside of the room. But I have to be able to get inside of that room. Some of you have told yourself you do not have enough money to begin, and I understand that. I understand money matters. But sometimes what feels like a money issue is also a strategy issue. You may not have been shown a clear path. Even yesterday, you may have not been shown a clear path that fits your current situation. I know for me, when I was working with real estate investors and I was a realtor, the things that they were investing in, I could not invest in. Those were not my means. So when I see people say, man, I don't have $97 to attend a 5-day educational event that's going to change my life and give me the knowledge I need to be able to scale and become a real estate investor, I think that that is alarming. Somebody put 911 in the chat. Your life should be a state of emergency if you cannot afford to invest in your education. I promise you, there are billionaires who are preying on you right now as we speak. This is not a scare tactic. They're banking on you to keep that same mindset because what they know they're going to get from you is money. How do they get paid off of you? Your time on social media. How do they get paid off of you? Your Netflix binge. They got a whole binge section for people to sit on the sofa all day long and just binge television. And all you're doing is making them wealthy, 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 wealthy. There's some of you who's saying, I can't afford to get a ticket for a 5-day challenge, but I'm going to buy these new Jordans that's about to come out. Some of you got these alerts on your phone when the new shoe drop, you already have it. And I think that we've been brainwashed into thinking that the things that are beneficial for us, the things that help us grow, the things that help us transform our lives are not really good for us. And so we sit in the same exact position. You wonder why billionaires and millionaires come into neighborhoods that you grew up in and they gentrify it. They are banking on you to stay the exact same way. They're not banking on you to own the block. They're not banking on you to become a real estate investor. They're not banking on you to sit in this challenge that we're doing right now. They're not banking on that. They're banking that you're going to stay exactly where you are. And some of you know exactly what I'm talking about. Because if you go to that childhood neighborhood and if it hasn't been gentrified yet, you see the same people in what I call a stay position. They are in the same exact state that you left them in. And I'm telling you today, that right there grieves my heart because there should be people like me and you going back into our neighborhoods and not just buying a property, not just doing a fix and flip, but I'm talking about buying the whole entire block. And that's what we learn as a group of real estate investors, as the circle of investors. We learn how to go in and acquire a massive amount of property, not just so we can pluck inside the neighborhood, but I'm talking about make a huge imprint inside of the neighborhood. So if that part connects with you, I want you to drop money in the chat right now. Money is not your issue. I need you to let go of you thinking you need so much money. I need for you to get into the mindset that I am going to be buying income this year. When is the last time you bought income? Launchers, you have more of a consumer mindset than a producer mindset. You're not interested in producing because your consuming consumes you. You think, oh, this little Amazon order here and there. You think this little Shein order, y'all buying these clothes that got poison on the inside of them for 10 cents, and then you walking around looking cute, but you have no assets. You are not a child of a peasant. You are a child of a king, and there is no child of a king I know that should be walking around as a peasant. There should be no child of a king walking around as a billboard. What do I mean when I say a billboard? I mean, you got on Jordans, but Jordan is already a billionaire. I mean, you got Nike on from the top of your head all the way down to the bottom of your feet, but Nike is already a billionaire. You got a Rolex on, but Rolex been a billionaire. You got all this jewelry on, but the jewelry company been making millions. At some point, we have to stop being a billboard. We have to, look, they're putting their brand on our back and we're doing it for free. There's something when, and this is for, can I get personal? Put yes in the chat. Can I get personal tonight? Because we have to break this off of us. How can you afford a $1,000 iPhone, but you don't have no assets? My husband was complaining because he's a man that likes to buy things and collect every single thing he have, and not just collect, keep it. And he got so mad that he felt like Apple was scamming him because his Apple 4 finally went out. He was so devastated that his iPhone 4 did not turn on no more. I told him, I said, baby, it has no more life. Okay, it got like 14 years in front of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it has no more life. Of course it won't turn on. So you know what my husband said? I'm going to bring it to the iPhone repair store. They're going to fix it for me. Some of us have that mindset of being stuck in that same exact position, but yet some of us is out here buying the most fanciest phone but don't own a piece of real estate. What if I told you you can own real estate for the same amount that you buy iPhones for? Would you buy an iPhone or would you buy real estate? If I told you you can start bidding on properties for $1 or you can buy an iPhone for $1,000, which one are you going to do? Again, we have to stop being walking billboards because that tells us we don't have money. We pay for things that do not put money back in our pocket, and we give freely away the money that we make to the people who knows how to buy income with your money. So when you give Apple $1,000, guess what they're doing? They're buying income. They're buying more people to work on their tech team. They're building out more iPhones for the next 12 months so they can slow your phone down, so they can trick you into getting a whole nother phone, because all of a sudden the new phone has come out and now your phone don't go as fast as it used to go. When you realize you are in a wheel, you're inside of a cycle, and this cycle is not slowing down no time soon, they are banking on you. I think some of you need to get upset about that. You can't say nobody didn't tell you the truth, because now I'm telling you the things that I know that is holding you back. So when I say, hey, this is a chance and opportunity for you to be able to invest in your education, statistics say this, not Terica. Statistics says only 1% of the people on this call is going to sign up for their education. 1%. Let me ask you a question. Last night, were you a part of the 99%? Were you a part of the 99% that stayed stuck? Or were you a part of the 1% that said, I'm going to take action now? I am going to believe that if I invest this, I am going to get a return on my investment through my education, through my connections, and through the room that I'm going to enter. There's going to be a meal prepared for me. And I'm going to sit with like-minded individuals, like-minded real estate investors who are headed in the exact same direction I'm headed in and doing exactly what I'm doing. Those are the people I'm talking to tonight. So when you ask yourself, will I buy a $997 titanium pass to have a private networking dinner with a few millionaires and to be able to ask all the real estate questions I possibly can think of, and to be able to be entered to win a house, and to be able to attend a live conference event, and to be able to have a special night in Atlanta on that event? And or do I spend $997 for the newest phone when your phone still works? This is the mindset that we have to address. If you never hold yourself accountable, you're going to keep doing the exact same thing. How many of you have been on a summit like this before? Just drop me in the chat. You've been on these before. I am convinced that you don't need any more education. You need action. What else can you hear other than you need to move to be able to see what the next step is? You're not going to have eagle-eye vision when you do this. You're going to have faith that when you make the first step, you're going to go into the second step. And the third point that I want to address, and then I'm going to get into tax liens and tax deeds today, is the fear of making the wrong move. Some of you are not stuck because you just want to be stuck. You're stuck because you don't want to make the wrong move. You don't want to waste time. You don't want to lose money. You do not want to move too fast and regret it and end up with a haircut. I get that part, and it makes a lot of sense to me because I've caught a lot of haircuts in this business. But can I tell you, staying still has a cost? What has been the exact same cost you? Because you lied when you was making your New Year's resolutions. You said in December that it was going to be a new you in January, and that you had all of these goals, and you had all of these revelations and these things that you wanted to do, these resolutions that you wanted to do and you wanted to accomplish, and yet we're about to go into April and you have done none of it yet. You have to stop being a fraud to yourself and to your life. You can't do that anymore. Somebody put it's a cost in the chat right now. Somebody put it's a cost in the chat right now. The goal is to get you to a place where you understand enough to make a decision for the next step, not to understand the entire process. Somebody put next step in the chat. So if you've been on the fence, you've been to summits, you've been to these type of events, and you still feeling stuck and you don't know where to start because you feel like your finances are tight, or because you're scared of getting it wrong, or you don't know if this is really meant for you, I will tell you that it is meant for you and that you are on the right path. And on this path, it's going to require you to make a decision. And so as we get into tax liens and tax deeds, and I show you how to start investing in real estate with just a few $100s, where you can start buying interest and you can start buying deeds, I need for you to be ready to make a decision about what you're going to be doing in real estate next. Put next in the chat. If you're going to be thinking about your decision and what you're going to be doing next, put next in the chat. Don't allow these speakers, including myself, to discourage you and make you feel like you're out of place and not in the right place in this room. Allow the speakers to draw you closer and change your mindset thinking to, wow, how can I be closer to that? How can I learn more about that? How can I be more involved in that? Don't run from it. I know it's painful. Come get this education. Come get this learning. Come get this shift. Come be a part of a movement, your movement. When you start moving, then you start seeing things fall into place. And tonight, that's what you're going to do. Somebody say, I'm making a decision tonight. I am making a decision tonight. I will not stay the exact same way. I won't try to figure it out by myself. The cost of staying the same is too expensive. It has cost me so many years up until this point that I have to make a decision about my education tonight, because I know one thing, that whenever an opportunity comes and it nudges on my heart and I tell myself, give me time to think about it, you instantly forget about it, because that's the way life is set up. There's very few who travel down this narrow road. How many of you are going to be statistic breakers tonight? Put that in the chat. There's only 1% of you that's going to be able to walk with us on this 5-day challenge and be able to start breaking these cycles and these chains of bondages, but it's only 1%. Who is a part of that 1%? Put 1% in the chat if that's you. Do you understand the cost of the 1%? Do you understand the cost of the 99% where you stay the same and you look just like everybody else? I was on a phone today with a celebrity. I'm not going to say his name because we're still in the middle of working and putting some things together. But I said, my God, when did I get to the point in my career where celebrities are looking for ways to collaborate with somebody who was homeless up under a bridge as a teenage mom and now a kingdom-made millionaire, building communities and putting her children's name on street signs? God, this is all due to you. This is all because of obedience. This is all because I answered the calling and I said yes. I knew I was a statistic breaker when they was trying to tell me I wasn't. I broke every single statistic that they could place on a foster care child, and I'm still breaking statistics. So I'm only talking to the statistic breakers in the room today. I can't change your mind if you don't want your mindset changed, but I can walk with the 1% that says I'm going to be a statistic breaker and this cycle is going to end for me. So if you know that it's you, and my team is dropping the link for the 5-day property challenge, go now. Go challenge yourself right now. Go make your decision right now. You can be titanium at $9.97 and get full access and come spend a day with me and my team. Or you can just get in the room at $97. Or you can be platinum and get almost all of the perks of the titanium. But because you're not titanium, you don't get to attend the meetups. Or maybe you just VIP and you're stepping up a ladder and you're saying, Coach T, this is where I can be at right now. But by the time the 5-day challenge come, I will be titanium. Coach T, I may just need a little payment plan. I may need a little help. If that's you, put me in the chat. If you're saying, look, I just need a little help. I need a little guidance. I need a little reassurance. I know that I'm going to be a statistic breaker. I know that I'm going to be a part of the 1% tonight. I know right now at this moment, I'm about to make the decision. Then guess what? I got my team on here. I have my circle of investors on here. We all moved together, and at one point in time, they all were you. They all were you typing in, I'm going to break this cycle. So tonight, you're not just doing this alone. You're doing it with people that have went before you and who is standing there waiting to be able to walk on side of you. That's what you're doing. So as we go into the tax liens and the tax deeds, make a decision about who you are becoming now. Who are you becoming now? If you becoming an investor right now, at this moment, you're taking action. You're breaking the statistics. You will not be a part of the 99%. You'll be a part of the 1%ers. There's only a few 1%ers in here. Then put me in the chat. Put I'm working on it in the chat. Put today is my day in the chat. The Bible says our words have power. And if our words have power to speak life and death, I'm going to speak life over my finances. I'm going to speak life over my bank account. It may not have the zeros that I want in there right now, but I'm going to start speaking to that account as if it has already come to pass. And I'm going to do this, and I'm going to show not just myself, but everybody that's behind me that's looking at me. I'm going to show them how to be a statistic breaker. My education has made so much room for me to enter rooms I never thought that I would be in. I would have never thought that I would be invited to the White House. I just was working with my head down. I would have never thought that I would have been buying blocks among blocks among blocks. I would have never thought that the bank would be giving me millions and millions and millions of dollars. I'm not telling you this to brag. I'm telling you this because I'm an asset. I'm not a liability. So when you connect with me, you're connected to an asset. So you have to be an asset when you sit at this table, because in this room, only assets are allowed. Liabilities can't come. You know why? Because liabilities take from you. Liabilities, you got enough of those in your family and enough of friends to be liabilities. In this room, there's no liabilities. There's people that's doing real estate at a very high level, and now you can be a part of it because now you get to see what it looks like to be with real estate investors that's doing this at a very high level. That's what it's about. So today, for tax liens and tax deeds, as we go through this, I want you to visualize yourself owning a lot of these, right? We play Monopoly in real life. And this is one of the easiest ways to get started with real estate investing. You know, as a real estate developer, I don't do these anymore, but guess what I found out yesterday? Look, I'm still learning. I have a really great coach. Every great coach has a coach. I was talking with a friend yesterday, and he was telling me, he said, hey, Terica, you know that they have some hotels that's going to the tax sale. And I said, really? I said, I've been looking to kind of get into the hotels. I said, show me. So he pulled up the site, and then of course I got to pay for it and everything. And I'm like, all right, if this works, guess what happens? Those that's in the room, you get the next play. You get the hotels. You get the apartments. You get the buildings that's coming up. That's what takes place. So I like to go first. So if I lose some money, I can say, hey, y'all, don't go here. I lost that. But I only can say that in a room where I know you at. But then I also can say, hey, y'all, we just launched this new buy club that we have. And if you want to be a partner with us and go acquire some hotels with us, then this is where you're going to park your money. And this is where you're going to invest at. I'm telling you right now, some of you are about to get with your new business partners. Claim it right now in the chat. Put, this is my year for a new partner. This is my year. So let's get into it. What is a tax lien, right? A tax lien is a bid for interest. That means that property taxes have not been paid on the property. Now, why are property taxes so important? Because it pays for our police department. I am not against the police. I love the police. Okay, that is who I call when I need 911. Okay, I'm not against the police. I'm against dumb people that's on the police force. That's what I'm against, okay? But it also funds our schools. It funds our roads. It funds our municipalities. It funds a lot. And because of that, the city and or the county, they need the tax money. Somebody say, I need that money, right? So if they can get it through the interest of someone else paying it, then they're still able to function as a municipality. So when you see tax liens and tax deeds, these are people who have not paid their taxes yet. So a tax lien certificate does not give up ownership of the home. The profit from the tax lien investing comes from the interest that a homeowner pays when they pay their delinquent tax bill. Do you know people that are delinquent on their tax bills? You can go in and you can pay the taxes on it and own that actual interest. So how much are tax liens going for? Y'all, they got some tax liens that's $80. Somebody put $80 in the chat. You get paid whenever they come back and they paid their bill. If they do not pay their bill and the lien holder, let's say there's a mortgage on the property and the lien holder don't come and pay you the taxes on it, then guess what happens? The redemption period expires and you can go and apply for the deed for that property. As little as $80. I've seen some as $40. I'm like, yo, how people don't pay $40? You know why? Because it's grandma's house and it got 10 people that own it. And because grandma didn't have a will, she didn't leave out clear instructions. So because she didn't do that, guess what? The children and everybody fighting over the property and they all think they're going to get rich. But guess what? They're all going to lose the property. Because you, as a real estate investor, as a smart investor, you're going to go in and you're going to pay those taxes, and you're going to wait the 2 to 3 year redemption period. And once that redemption period is over, and if nobody pays it, and or if the lender don't come and claim it, then you can go in and apply for the ownership of the property. But to start off in the state of Louisiana, you have to do the lien first. If owners don't pay back their taxes during this period, you have the right to foreclose on the property and take ownership of it. They also have what's called a bid down auction, where investors win the tax lien based on the lowest amount of interest that they're willing to pay. Based on the lowest amount of interest that they're willing to pay. So when I hear people say, Coach T, I just don't have the money to get into real estate. When I hear you can't invest $97 or $297 or $497 or $997, how can you start buying this? What are you spending all your money on? I bet you if you give me your bank account, I can find your investment property. Give me your bank account and I'll find your investment property. How many of you that bold? Give me your last year, your whole entire year of banking statements. How many pages is your bank statement? Drop it in the chat right now. Is it 1? Is it 4? Is it 5? Is it 10? How many pages come in your monthly banking statement? I want to know. 2, 3, 4. Okay. Yes. 5, 2. All right. That should be the thinnest piece of mail that you get. But you know what the big envelopes tell me? You be buying stuff. When you get your bank statement and that thing thick and you going down that line and you looking at everything you spent, especially during December, you be like, jeez, these children expensive, baby. No, you're just a horrible, horrible, horrible steward of money. Because for one day you want to pay thousands and thousands of dollars to see a smile up under a Christmas tree, but you don't have no ownership. I think it's mind-boggling that you would spend $500 to $600 on a PlayStation, but won't spend that on your education. I think it's mind-boggling that you spend $500 to $600 on a PlayStation, but you won't go purchase a tax lien certificate. Do that make sense? Can y'all tell me if that makes sense in the chat right now? Like, am I making sense? How can you not have ownership when it comes this cheap? When it comes this affordable? I went back to the baby steps of real estate investing just so you can get in and not have a reason to say, I cannot do it. You are a liar if you say that. Period. Some of you said, Coach T, I want you to be my coach and I love you for a very long time. The others of you on here is like, oh my gosh, this woman here is chewing me out and telling all my business and I do not like her. It's okay. If you start liking me, I can help you go to the bank more often. That's the truth. So a tax lien certificate, it can expire. Okay, so what does that mean? Tax liens are not everlasting instruments. Many have an expiration date after the end of the redemption period. Once the lien expires, the lien holder becomes unable to collect any unpaid balance. If the property goes into foreclosure, the lien holder may discover other liens on the property, which can make it impossible to obtain title. What does this mean? Do not let the lien expire. Don't go purchase the taxes for 1 year and then the next year you don't pay it. Don't do it. Don't do it. But as long as you pay the taxes every single year, then guess what happens? They got to come see you when it's time to claim this property back. That's what happens. Tax liens can expire, right? So we look at it as active/passive investing. You must notify the property owner in writing of their purchase within a stated amount of time. You are also required to send a second letter of notification to them near the end of the redemption period if payment hasn't been made in full by that time. That means that you have a fiduciary duty to contact the property owner and say, hey, you have not paid your property taxes yet. I've paid it, and this is what you need to pay to get your property back in good standing and back into your ownership. If you do not pay this money, I'm going to continue paying your property taxes. And once your redemption period expires, I'm going to own your property. Do you think people really want to hear that, Maria? Lakeisha, you think people really want to hear that? No, they don't. They don't. So knowing that there's a process, there's, more stuff that we talk about within our 5-day challenge about these tax liens and tax deeds. But last night, how many of you purchased titanium last night? Put me in the chat. You guys are getting the 50 state tax playbook. That means in that playbook, you got how to write the letter. You have in that tax playbook. How many of you have my 50 state tax playbook? Put me in the chat. It's really, really good. Okay. I wrote it myself. It's really good, I should say. I might get that printed for PC Live. Remind me of that. And so in the playbook, I also have in there where you can write down all of the tax liens that you're bidding on right now and that you have ownership in. So as a titanium ticket holder, you get that. And I also give you a QR code where you can start getting all of these different sites, Civic Sources and all these other sites, to start sending you the active tax liens that are available for you to be able to go and purchase. Somebody put 5-day challenge in the chat. This is too good. If you need more of this, just put 5 days in the chat and then click the link to go get your ticket. Tax liens calculations. Let's keep going, okay? So tax lien calculation, a general rule of thumb is to pay about 3 to 7% of a property's value for a tax lien certificate. 3% to 7%. So for those of you who are like, Coach T, how much do I pay for a tax lien? This is not a tax deed. This is a tax lien, okay? The lien means you have interest. The deed means you have ownership, okay? A general rule of thumb is to pay about 3% to 7% of a property's value for a tax lien. That's really good. 3% to 7%. So you can't leave here saying you don't know how much to pay. So let me show you some states that tax liens can expire. You have Alabama, Illinois, Missouri, Arkansas, Louisiana, Nevada, Colorado, Maryland, North Dakota, Connecticut, Wyoming, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. If any of these are your states, put my state in the chat. Tax liens can expire. Pay attention to them. Stay on top of them. In my tax sale playbook, it has an area where you're able to keep up with the expiration and all of those things inside of my playbook. It's a really great playbook. How many of you would love that playbook? How many of you would love the 50 state tax sale playbook? Just put me in the chat right now. So another thing to address whenever we're talking about liens and deeds, tax liens and tax deeds, is lien priority, right? In the state of Louisiana, we have what's called first in time, first in right. That means that whoever goes to the courthouse first and they go and record that lien, that is who owns that property. So if let's say a seller has one property and at 1 o'clock they take money from one buyer, and because they are a scammer, at 3 o'clock they take money from another buyer. And then the buyer that came at 3 o'clock, his attorney automatically sent the paperwork to the courthouse and now it's recorded. But the buyer from 1 o'clock, his attorney didn't send the paperwork, although he closed on it first. Guess who owns the property? Is it buyer 1 or is it buyer 2? It's going to be buyer 2. Because it's first in time, first in right. That's how I go every single time, right? And what I love about tax liens is they have what's called a super lien, right? Which automatic have higher power. A super lien is a special category of lien, often for property taxes or HOA fees. I own a development. I own the HOA. So when I place a lien on the homeowner's properties in my development, it's because they have not paid the lawn care fees or, any type of dues that we have for the common areas, they just delinquent in it, right? We have what's called super liens. And so that takes priority over almost everything else, including, somebody put including in the chat. If this is good, put good. Including a first mortgage by state law, meaning it gets paid first in a foreclosure even if recorded later. Why? Why? While general tax liens like federal IRS liens are very strong, real estate tax liens are often specifically designated as a super lien, allowing them to outrank even the first mortgage in many states. What is the first mortgage for all of my lunchers who don't understand this lingo? CJ, that means that if somebody has a loan for $100,000, that lender is usually the first lien holder. But because the taxes have not been paid, now you, as the buyer who have went in and purchased those taxes, is the superior lien holder. That means you have a super lien over that property, even over the person who has way more money out on the property than you. That is why it's always important to make sure you reach out to the mortgage company if you're looking to make money, and let them know that you own the taxes to this property. And if they want them, they need to come through you to get them. That's how powerful that is. If that was fire, drop some fire in the chat right now. I just want to know that you guys are getting it, because I wanted to give you something that was so easy that a kindergartner could do it. I know we're about to talk numbers and math on here today, but if I can show you how to make a few $100s and get you to just make one step and one decision to be able to walk 5 days, to be able to multiply what you learned, then I have come on here and successfully done my job. So let's talk about the flow of the tax liens, right? So the flow of liens means which way does this flow, right? So as I stated, property tax liens are first. Special assessment tax liens are second. Mechanic liens are third. HOA liens are fourth. Now, depending on the order, first in right, special assessment tax lien, HOA liens, and mechanic liens can be a first in priority situation. But the property tax liens, that is a super lien. Somebody put super in the chat. Then you have junior liens, which are generally lower in priority, right? These are judgments. That's for the people that got, you ever met someone who haven't paid their child support in 100 years and they got all of these judgments against them? And for those of you who work in HR, you get garnishment wages for people because maybe they went and got a payday loan and they didn't pay it back. Those are the type of judgment liens I'm talking about, right? Then you have the second mortgage lien. That means that somebody went out, maybe did a HELOC, or maybe they went and they borrowed against their property and they took out a second mortgage because they needed some cash to be able to do something, but they did not pay it back. That right there is typically what you call a junior lien. And those junior liens, why a lot of banks don't like to be second in position, is because they don't get paid first. So the first in priority is who gets paid first. That's why mortgage companies are typically coming to knock at your door with tax liens to be able to buy these taxes back, because they have a lot more out and a lot more invested. Now, a tax deed, somebody drop ownership in the chat. A tax deed is ownership, okay? So what happens is you go to the courthouse, we go to what's called the sheriff's cell, okay? Put sheriff's cell in the chat. And with the sheriff's cell, what takes place is you have your delinquent taxes. That is what they have not paid, okay? So the bidding for that is going to start at that $12,000. That is the amount that has not been paid with the deed. Then you have what's called the winning bid. That means that 10 people bid it and it got all the way up to $30,000. So the property went from the delinquent taxes of being owed $12,000 to now a winning bid of $30,000. The overage collected with that is about $18,000. So if I take that 18 and that 12, that's where that 30 come from. Then you got that title certification, that's $2,000. The title certification is what gives you the ownership. So when you leave the courthouse, when you leave the sheriff's cell, Nicole, you leave with that certificate in your hand. Kanika, do you understand what I'm saying? You leave with that certificate in your hand. That is full ownership. Guess what happens? Now you're walking away with a property that's worth $80,000, and all you have to do is take that property, find a realtor, list it with that realtor, put it on the market, Don't do no repairs. Don't lift the hammer and nail and sell the property in the exact same condition that you bought it in. Somebody say ownership right now in this room. Somebody say Coach T talking spicy in this room. Somebody say this is why day 2 is important. You got to show up because you never know what lane you're going to be in. This may be somebody chance and opportunity to get ownership. I know some of you already got $12,000 in the bank. I know some of you got $5,000 in the bank. I know some of you got $1,000 and you say, watch, I'm going to make this $1,000 dance tonight. I'm going to use this to go buy income. So then I get into it, right? And so I look at the tax deeds and the tax lien states, how each state issues and enforces taxes, right? And so if you see your state on here, go ahead and represent in the chat. Just, you know what I'm saying? Beat your chest, represent, right? All my Louisianans, put LA in the house, Louisiana in the house, right? So when you look at the light green states, those are your tax deed states. That means that they don't have the tax lien. You don't got to go through all of that. You literally go to the courthouse and you buy that deed, okay? Then you have your tax lien states. That's where you got to go through the lien process. You purchase the interest of a property, not the ownership. And then you got the redeemable deed states, which are the juicy states like Texas and Tennessee, where you're able to go in there, Hawaii, I believe as well, and you're able to go in there and you're able to charge 25+%, 20%, some cases 10, 15% on the actual investment. And then you have the pink ones, which is the both lien and deed states. So some states you can do interest and ownership. Some you can do redeemable ownership, some you can do liens only, and some you can do deeds only, okay? So look at your state and decide, but let me give you a nugget real quick. Redeemable deed states is Texas, Georgia, South Carolina, Tennessee, Hawaii, and Delaware. These are redeeming deed states. Redeeming a tax sale is the process of paying off a tax lien or deed that is on a property due to unpaid taxes. If the property owner redeems the property, they can get all of their ownership back. If they do not, the tax sale buyer can then get all the rights to the property. If they don't come and pay all that money up front, you get that full ownership, okay? So let's look at the redeemable deeds cost, right? So in Texas, you get 25% on your money. How many of you would love 25% on your money? How many of you would love 20% on your money? I'm about to see who really understand money right now, because I'm telling you right now, this is ROIs that you get for going in, purchasing tax liens and tax deeds. Real estate don't got to be complicated. It's just some people, they want to teach you at a very high level. But today I just want to meet you where you are so you can stop being stuck and make a decision to go ahead and invest in yourself. Delaware, 15%, South Carolina, 12%, Hawaii, 12%. Then you got Tennessee, which is 10%. All of this is ROIs. All of this is ROIs. And of course, there's buyer beware. Of course, you want to make sure that, you know these things. No one is going to give you the keys. No one is going to give you interior photos, and no one is going to give you any information, guarantees, or warranties of any kind. But if you're like me, I'm a friendly neighbor. I'll walk through that neighborhood. I'll stop at that house and be like, oh my gosh, how much is this house renting for? They tell me a number. They be like, no, I own it. And I'd be like, wow, are you interested in selling? I'm a real estate investor. I'm going to find a way to get into these properties before I close on them, because I don't want to buy a house and overpay for it. So I'm going to find a way to be able to get in there, right? You are responsible for the condition of the property. So if this property is scheduled to be demolished, and again, we go through this more and more in the 5 days, right? But for time's sake, I got other speakers that's coming on to give you guys some juice. But you are responsible for the condition. And then smart investors seek to avoid losses first and make profits second, okay? I want to give you this nugget, right, where you can start buying assets for less than $100. Can I give you that right now? Put yes in the chat. And if you stay on to the very end, I have another surprise for you. And if you are titanium, you will get a copy of my tax sale playbook. Okay, all you have to do is print it out, and when you come and see me, I'll sign it and I'll walk through it with you. If you got any questions, you have anything in regards to it, that is what the access gets you when you purchase at Titanium, right? So take your tax sale investing to the next level. Okay, this is a QR code that you can scan where you're able to kind of get started and get things going, right? This is research, management, financing, and trade. It's all in one. And Tax Sale Resource has all of the states inside of here where you guys are able to get started. So I want to just say, I know we have our next investor that's coming up, and I just want to say thank you guys for allowing me to come on this morning. How many of you saying I'm done being stuck, Coach T? Yesterday I stayed. Today I will not. Put me in the chat. Put me in the chat if I'm not going to stay the same today. Let this be the last day that the cost of you doing nothing expires. Today. Today. Go right now. If you're enjoying this, go right now and get access to be in a room. We got a lot more goodies for you. And I'm telling you, you do not want to miss out. If I'm giving you all of this for free, can you imagine what the paid people are going to get? Just being honest. Can you imagine? So, Michael, let's take this on out of here. Thank you, guys.
All right. Everybody give it up for Terica Lynn Smith in the chat. Everybody give it up, give it up, get it up, get it up. I love it. Listen, y'all, we're not done. We got more. Everybody just type more in the chat. If you understand, that was just the warm up. That was just the warm up. I want you to put more in the chat. Listen, we got two more amazing guests, and our next speaker is going to show you how to go raise capital, how to go and then position yourself in a way where people can help you fund your real estate deals. Now, there's some of you all in here, you want to go do apartment investing, you want to do flips, you want to do buy and hold. What if we told you you didn't have to use your own money? So today we have Hunter Thompson in the room. And listen, this is somebody that's helped thousands of investors, thousands of entrepreneurs go and raise capital confidently. I truly believe there's no one else out there. I'd rather have you learning this topic from than this individual right here. So if I could tell you anything, it would be get your pen and paper ASAP. Get in a place where you can go ahead and be taking notes, turn off all distractions, because the next 30 minutes of Hunter giving out this game could change everything for you. So if you're ready for Hunter to take the stage, go ahead and put a fire emoji in the chat real quick. Put a fire emoji in the chat real quick if you're ready for Mr. Thompson to come take the stage. Y'all, I'm excited. I'm amped up because I'm going to be taking notes too for Hunter to come on stage. Hunter, I'm going to pass the mic over to you, brother. You are now co-host. Welcome up. Welcome up. Glad to see you today, brother, on this fine Tuesday.
Let's go. It's an honor to be on. I've got like 59 slides to get through, so I'm going to get right to it. Hey, if you can, turn your cameras on. For my people that are on camera, I love you. If you feel like you've been held back, not because you don't have good ideas, not because you don't have an understanding of what you want to do, not because you don't have access to amazing content like this right here, and you need money, if you need money, if that's the thing you need, somebody drop a capital in the chat real quick. That's all I'm going to talk about is how to make it rain. I don't even know if I really have a title in my business, but my title for sure is Rainmaker. That's all I do. I help people get strangers to fund their deals. And I've got, like I said, like 1,000 slides to get to. And for my people in the chat, keep the chat lit. That's like how I do this. I'm just going to be super energetic based on you guys. So let's get to it. All right. Does this work? You know what? Let me hold that real quick. Boom. I'm going to just reshare. Pow. And then pow. Whoa. All right, real quick. False start. Holy cow. Insanity. Let me do it one more time. The slideshow presenter mode. Now, let me know in the chat. If that works, I'm going to slide it like this. Oh my gosh. One more time. One more time. I got it though. I got it. I know that one was close. Here we go. Boom. Share. Slideshow presenter mode and swap displays. Now we are good, right? We're good?
Yep, you're good to go.
Somebody say good in the chat. Let's go. So I'm going to show you guys 4 stages to raise $100 million. I'm going to go through a bunch of crazy examples, case studies, millions of dollars, tens of millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars. Don't be confused by the numbers, the commas. This is all the same. Doing $1 million raise or $100,000 raise or a $10 million raise, it's really not that different if you do it the way that I'm going to talk about today. And from my perspective, raising $1 million or 10 million is a lot more fun than raising 100,000, especially if you do what I'm going to talk about today. Does that make sense? You guys want to do the 7-figure play or the 8-figure play? If so, someone say 8 figures in the chat. So In the presentation, I'm going to give you this big idea that you should build a business regarding your dream clients, your specific people. If you can build a business that really resonates with a couple of people, it can change your business and therefore change your life. And I call these people my dream clients. Some of you might be here right now, okay? All the people that I pull, when I think about my dream clients, they all want freedom. If that word is a big part of your core value, who you are, your North Star, type of freedom in the chat. I'm going to show you how you can build a business with the capital as the focus that will result in insane amount of freedom that you probably could never imagine before you could actually make it rain. What we do this is to help increase your freedom. Okay. Now, the problem is if you don't have a way to attract clients on autopilot, if you don't have a way to convert strangers to buyers, you don't really have a business. You have a very stressful job. And I know this because that's what I did in the past. So what I want to do is help you have a business that looks like this. First, to ignite, get some quick wins, then streamline that to make it more systematized, then formally systematize it. And then you can do the thing that I know every single person on here wants to do, which is to scale. A lot of people that are here right now have made the mistake of thinking, oh, I want to scale. I want to take it to the next level. I want to just do this big thing. But you don't know what you're doing yet. If you do it in this order, it's actually very easy to scale a business, specifically a capital raising business, which is what all of you should think about wanting to have. Every business, my friends, is essentially a capital raising business. And now we're going to focus on how to do it. Okay, first, quick wins, action takers wins, number one. All right, so if I say to do something or to try something, odds are I've tried it and done it. And if you try it, you're probably going to have success. But if you can get in the habit of just taking action based on people that actually know what they're talking about, it's going to help you dramatically. Here's the first thing I want you to do, and get out your phones or get out your screenshot, whatever, take notes, because I'm going to give you some specific scripts here. If you want to get in the world of raising capital, before we get into scaling, before we get into 9 figures, send out a text message to 10 people that you think are financially qualified that just says this right here. Just do it. Take a screenshot, send it out after my presentation. Over the last couple months, I've been heads down in the world of real estate. Given what's going on in the market, some things have come up. I don't have anything under contract right now, but would you be interested in staying in the loop if and when something comes up and that I think is compelling? This freaking text message script right here has raised me millions of dollars, and it's helped my people raise tens of millions of dollars with no list, nothing. Just do it. Just go text them after this. And when somebody says, yes, keep me in the loop, immediately just move to the next step and prompt them to book a call. And all you got to do is freaking pick their brain around what they are interested in, what their goals are, what their pain points are, uncover where they are in their journey, why they might want to invest. If you have a deal or the last deal you did, or you've never done a deal, use an example deal. Again, get a heat check of how interested they might be. And based on that heat check, if they're cold, warm, or hot, go for an investment reservation. Just freaking try. I'm going to talk a lot about this other stuff and strategies and tactics and brands and email, lead magnets and automations, and all this stuff is useless if you aren't willing to actually take action. This is the lowest hanging fruit I can give you. Is anybody going to do this? Put a yes in the chat if you're going to commit to do this. Let me show you the script one more time. It's so easy. There's no pressure. There's no pitch. You don't even have to have a deal. Just send somebody this. If 10 people do it, I'd be stoked. Okay? She's talking about the 1%. 1%. That's all you got to do to be the 1%. Send out a zero sales pitch type of pitch like that, which is just, hey, let's figure it out, right? And then, by the way, even if you don't have a deal, hey, what would the range of investment be if I did have a deal? Cool, gotcha. Now you're on the way to building some awesome momentum, okay? That's basically the framework right there. For people that don't think this is going to work, I got proof. There's my boy Douglas, got his first yes. There's my boy Eric, got his first yes. Candias, I looked into this. I was reaching calls. I raised $500,000 in a week just executing that. Free game. All right. Now, if some of you tried to raise money in the past, I totally get that. When you do it through this framework, you send out a text message like that. There's no angle. There's no deal. You want to tell them you don't have a deal. There might be low-hanging fruit in your friends and family members that you don't know. Okay. So let's keep rocking. That was number 1, low-hanging fruit, trying to get you guys wins early. Ready to move to number 2? Somebody say 2 in the chat. Now that we've got a little bit of momentum, you can see where this is going to go. We're going to build something insane here during this presentation. But we've ignited. We start to get those network, the people that already know you. Now we're going to try to establish your dream client and try to get into this world of attracting people, strangers, to fund your deals. Because I know not everybody's got rich relatives, right? So here's where we are in the playbook. The way that we do this and build a business capable of attracting your dream investors is to first identify who your dream client is. Okay. When I think about my dream client, you want to know who you feel called to serve. What niche, what avatar we call in marketing, what investor profile you feel most aligns with your background, right? This is an example, right? If you used to be a dentist, or you are a dentist, or you have a background in the military, or you used to help people in nonprofit, whatever that thing is about you that's core to who you are, that you feel like there's other people out there that are financially qualified to invest, those are usually the beginnings of your dream client, finding out who that person is. Now, if you've never done a deal, no problem. But if you've done a deal, it's a good idea to interview some of the best people you've ever worked with. And by the way, it doesn't mean that you have to have done a deal to pick who to interview. Anybody that you worked with that you know intuitively in your heart that if you had 100 people like them, they would be your dream client. They would just blow your business up. Interview those people. All you got to do is 3 to 10 people. You guys got to understand where I'm taking this? People that you'd love to work with, not just once or twice, but for the rest of your career. Reach out to those 3 to 10 people. And again, no sales pitch. All you got to do is say something like this. Hey, I'm looking through my phone right now. It's been a while since we connected. Would you be interested in doing a 30-minute call with me? Because I hired a marketing coach and he told me to get my top 3 best investors or potential investors and ask them a couple questions. You're reaching out and just saying, hey, listen, I love your vibe, bro. And I want to work with people just like you. I hired a coach. He told me to just ask you a couple questions because what you want to do is get some information about how to attract more of those people into your life. So what do you ask them? A couple quick things. How do we originally get connected? What's your outlook over the next 12 months? When you invest, do you invest for cash flow, appreciation, or a balance of both? What's your number one concern about your portfolio? When you're looking to make investments, what's the number one thing you look for? And by the way, even if they haven't invested with you, this is all really good information. If they have invested with you, what made you invest with us? Why did you feel comfortable? Now, you might be seeing all these questions on here and being like, what does all this mean? This is the beginning of you building a dream client focused brand. Somebody put brand in the chat, B-R-A-N-D, brand in the chat. If you're with me, if you're awake, there you go. Suzette, let's go. Anita, Karen, Tracy, let's go. Marketing is not, you don't have to be a genius to be a good marketer. Obviously, I'm here right now. But if you can just listen to what your best people are saying and put it in front of them, they'll think you read their minds because you just take the answers and put it on a website. Make sense? Is this connecting? Put a yes in the chat if this is making sense, okay? So when you conduct those interviews, all you got to do, record it, and then, like I said, make it be a mirror where your dream clients look at your brand, look at your website, and they see themselves and they go, this person, this woman, this man read my freaking mind. The challenges, the pain points, the goals, the aspirations that I have, it's just plastered on everything they do. And if you do that, you can explode your business because all the challenges that you've been dealing with around track record and how many deals you've done, that will be relaxed dramatically if you hit them where it really matters in their heart, because trust is more important than track record. Okay, let's keep rocking. Then once you have that brand, you have the answers to those questions, you create what we call in marketing a lead magnet. Put a 1 in the chat if you have a lead magnet. Put a 0 in the chat if you do not have a lead magnet. 1 in the chat if you have one, 0 if you do not have one. Okay, so if you're putting a 0 in the chat right now, my obvious question is, what's your plan to get strangers to turn into buyers? Strangers to turn into investors? My plan is to take strangers and get them to give me their information. First name, last name, email address, phone number. You guys with me? You've seen it, obviously. You're in it right now. Terica got your first name, last name, email address, phone number, and here you are, right? So we got to get that information from our dream clients. All right. How we do this, it looks something like this. We have a lead magnet that is something like a podcast, an email, a webinar, a 5-day challenge. They opt in, put their phone number, email address, first name, last name, and then we drop them to a series of automations. Y'all have seen this before, right? I know you have because, like I said, you're living it, but this is what the back end of something like this, what it looks like. This isn't her secret sauce. This is what we do as marketers. We get a lead magnet and drop them in. Okay? So some people say, well, guess what, Hunter? I see things like this all the time. I don't even click around anymore. I don't even do it. Not true. The reality is when someone's really good at getting this information and putting it in front of you, all of your things about I would never opt in, I would never show up, they go away. And how do I know it? Because you're literally sitting here live right now. And Terica, I got to give you a shout out. To have 500 people live here, the lead magnet must have been good. The automations must have been good. The thank you page must have been good. But this is something all of you can do. Here's an example. High Income Pilot, my boy, Tate Duryea, Turbine Capital. He helps pilots raise money, or invest money, I should say, for passive income. He has a lead magnet called this right here, the Pilot's Guide to Passive Real Estate Investing. Now, unless you're a pilot, you're probably like, that's not for me. Guess what? It's all good. He only needs a couple hundred. And by the way, it's working. He has more than that, a couple thousand. He texted me 25 million this morning. Boom. He's now raised about $55 million, almost all from pilots. Okay. Now you might be thinking, I'm not a pilot. This doesn't apply to me. Doesn't matter. Pick a niche. I got a friend named Rob Beardsley. His main focus is family offices, people with $100 million plus portfolios. He built a business around that. His lead magnet is very different. The definitive guide to underwriting multifamily acquisitions, very dense, very detailed, very dream client focused for this dream client. And does it work? He's raised, not assets under management, he's raised $117 million of equity and bought around $600 million worth of real estate. Okay, big numbers, the same principles apply. Is this connecting? Somebody put a 1 in the chat. It's the same for 1 million, 10 million, 100 million. How can you get strangers to invest with you? Ricky, Tavon, let's go. Now, some of you are attending this right now and you're just like, I want to do real estate, dude. What are you talking about? What's an avatar? Why do I care about automations? From my perspective, all of you can be helped by being better at sales, right? That's true of everyone here, including myself. Marketing is more scalable sales. Marketing is selling one to many. Everyone on here can be better at sales, but my friends, if you get better at being a marketer, it can change your business in a way that sales can't even touch. And no disrespect to the good salesman, but if I can sell in front of 10,000 while you're doing one-to-one, I'm going to run circles around you. Make sense? So it makes sense to lean into the marketing side of things. You are the best storyteller in your business. You are the best at knowing the pain points and challenges and goals and aspirations of the people you want to work with. That is what it means to be a good marketer. Are you with me? Put a YES in the chat if you're down for thinking about raising capital like this, which is different than probably what you thought I was going to talk about, but it's how I've raised $100 million personally and helped people raise billions of dollars. Nita, let's go. Let's keep rocking. Stage number 3. Now we have this idea of dream client. How do we become the number one in your client's mind? We're in the systematize piece right here. When I launched my first business, I loved the space. I spent $10,000 on creating a website. I launched it, and guess what? Nobody cared. There was no buzz. Nobody knew me. It dropped like a rock falling into an ocean. And if this sounds familiar, it's all good. You know, this is typical of when people launch businesses. They don't know about building a buzz and building excitement. Then I uncovered something extremely important, which is this concept, and I bet none of you have heard of it, which is called dramatic demonstrations. I learned directly from Russell Brunson around this. He's a mentor of mine. The concept of dramatic demonstrations, basically a unique marketing initiative designed to spread your promise, your hook, how you help people. Okay? So the goal is to create a marketing initiative to spread your hook. Anybody know what a hook is? I got a gold star to the first person that explains what a hook is in the chat. What is a hook? A hook is a way to grab the attention of your people. Again, not your webinar, not your deal, not your PPN. Yvonne said pull in. Yes, exactly. Your hook. Your deal will never go viral. Your webinar will never go viral. Your PPM, for God's sake, will never go viral. It is the promise to get someone's attention. So a marketing hook is an attention-grabbing promise that hooks people in so that they're compelled to consume some of your content. If you take a little bit of time to develop a great hook, it can change your business. Now I got people in the chat rocking with me. I love to see it. Here's what this looks like as you begin to scale one of these businesses. You know who you're targeting. You know their pain points, challenges, goals, aspirations, core values, etc. You do something dramatic that will allow them to find out about your hook, and then you drop them into an automated sequence where you get their first name, last name, email address, phone number, and a bunch of automations to prompt them to do the next thing, which is book a call with you, learn more about how you help people. Okay? Now, I got a friend that executed this. Her name is Courtney Muller. And what she did is she did a 2-day virtual event. Her promise was, hey, we'll help you save on W-2 taxes, build wealth faster, and create financial freedom. Like I said, she did a 2-day advanced tax strategy summit. She got people's first name, last name, email address, phone number, dropped them into a series of automations, and she raised $31 million last quarter. Now, when she started, some of you might hear this and go, too good to be true, totally insane. When we started working together, she had cumulatively in her entire career had raised $2 million. Now, that's still a lot of money, but that was her whole career. And then she did 31 million last quarter. That is what happens when you start to drop some of this oil on a fire. Here's another example. Heard of her? Terica, rocking out right now. What's the promise? Hey, listen, we got this summit coming up. Learn how to invest in property, make a plan, and see it through. That's what the promise is. Here's the actual vehicle to deliver it, which is a 5-day property challenge. Click, and I know you guys are signing up. If you've already signed up, put a yes in the chat. And what is going to happen once you sign up? Is she just going to say, God bless you, never see you again? No, she's going to deliver excellence. And in the back end, she's going to drop you into a series of automations, which will do what? Prompt you to do the next dope thing, which is take your business to the next level. Click here, book a call, etc. So now you can see this. And by the way, she's not going to be like, oh no, you told away my secrets. No, she wants you to do this too. She wants you to do this too. And so this is how you build a brand that's scalable, right? So if you've tried this before, if you tried to raise money before, if you've ever done a webinar or tried to raise capital and it just fell flat, let me just ask you, what was your hook? What was it? How much time did you spend on it? Probably not enough, because if you do it right, if one person hears about it, they might feel compelled to share it with 3 people. And if you get that going, you never have to worry about marketing again. You guys get me? The hook is that important. Now, through that lens, you can see that this stuff, anything can work. Webinars, podcasts, virtual summits, in-person events, sponsoring events, conferences, investor dinners, hosting a golf tournament. I've done it all. If you have a good hook and you can bring your dream clients in, you can get them attracted, you can do the dramatic demonstration, you can get their leads, you can get their emails, you can get their phone numbers, and then drop them into sequences and get them to take the next rational step. And now, this is how you do it. Right. And like I said, you've got to stay top of mind by dropping them into automations. You can't just give them away the goods and never talk to them again. You actually have to use automations to do this. So now I know that some of you, I know I got to go in 6 minutes, so let's keep rocking. Okay. If you feel like, as I'm saying this, you're like, bro, slow down, because maybe I'm just getting started. There's no way I can host a 3-day summit. There's no way I can do a podcast. Are you feeling like that, by the way? I'm talking about doing something that you're like, you know what? I'm not there yet. I need 5 years. Who feels out of place? If I were to say, go do a podcast, go create one podcast episode, who would feel like I'm not ready to do that, bro? Just say yes. I know it's true, as it should be if you're just getting started. But here's the ultimate hack for this. First of all, let me be the one to tell you, you do not have to freaking wait, guys. You do not have to wait. You owe it to yourself and your future self. You can't possibly wait any longer. The trick to all of this, if you're getting started and if you feel like imposter syndrome, which by the way, I have found after coaching 1,000 people or more, that people with imposter syndrome typically are, guess what? Smarter, more successful generally. They struggle with it because they're not so dumb. They feel like they don't know everything. That's what the people that struggle with imposter syndrome, they actually know and are smart enough to know that they don't know it all. Versus the people who are loud and know nothing and just blast through everything. Well, guess who's actually going to be successful in this industry? People that have a little bit of imposter syndrome going on. Do you feel me on that? Regardless of whether or not you feel me, I'm used to working with people that feel that way. Here's the hack for all of this. You don't have to play the role of the genius. You don't have to play the role of the know-it-all. You can just play the role of the reporter. Which means today, every single one of you can do something as simple as get your iPhone, turn it on for 8 minutes, and tell what Terica told you about tax liens. Say, this girl said that. Isn't that a fact? You don't got to know what you're talking about. You just got to know she said that. And that's a fact. You're playing the role of the reporter. It doesn't mean that you have to know everything there is to know about tax liens. You just got to tell somebody that you know somebody said that. That's it. It's just her opinion. Here's what I think. That's it. And as you do this through your career, you go from reporter to thought leader. You will go from secondary, third source to original source. Guess how I know? Because I did 1,000 podcasts, 1,000 through my career, going from beginner, not knowing anything, to extremely competent, to whatever I've done, $500 million of assets. That's how. Was that helpful? I'm going to keep rocking because they're going to yank me off the stage, but let me just give you a little bit more. Somebody say sauce. Somebody say sauce. You guys have an iPhone. You have a phone. All of you can record an 8-minute podcast today. I'm not even saying you have to post it, but just freaking commit to recording 8 minutes on the topic. What you learned today, your number one takeaway. By the way, it could be, I saw a guy tell me I didn't have to be the source. I could be the reporter. And that's why I'm doing this podcast right now. It's a cool way to get me out of my element. And I don't have to deal with imposter syndrome because at the end of the day, that guy said that. End of podcast. Podcast number 1. I did 1,000 of them. Let's keep rocking. Scale. Somebody say SCALE in the chat. Let's go. How to do this so you can go from 100K to 1 million to 10 million to et cetera, right? The way to do this is that once you always have this set up, once you get to this point where you're rocking and rolling and you're bringing in leads, then by the way, it becomes very easy to add zeros and commas. At this stage, which is where I am just looking for easy doubles, okay? Because I have a system for everything I do. I want to double the amount of webinar attendees that I have. Right now, Terica has 500 people on here live, right? Would it be more work for her if 1,000 people were here live? No, it would not. It would probably be twice, or by the way, a lot more beneficial for her and her business if twice as many people here. So that's what I try to do now. How can I go from 500 to 1,000? How can I get more people to show up? How can I do twice the number of book calls? How can I get twice the number of leads? This is how you actually scale a business. But people start by going this. They start by saying, okay, I'm ready to rock out. Rock out what, bro? What message? What dream client? What automations? Are there any holes in the boat before we go on this massive journey? But if you do it in the order that I just said, you can. You totally can. Lastly, I'll leave you with this. All of this is within your reach. As you continue to grow your business, you will be met all the time with questions that you can reject completely. Work smarter or harder? No. You can do neither in some cases. Technology can do a massive lift for you. Other people can work for you. Here is a person that I know, Kimberly Workman. She's a full-time physician's assistant, demanding W-2 job. She works full-time. She hired a Philippines VA for $500 a month, took a ton of work off her plate, and now she's raised 8 figures, more than $10 million, while working a demanding W-2 that she doesn't want to quit. On the other side of the spectrum, that's someone who's just getting started with the W-2. I mentioned Rob Beardsley before. He built out a massive team. They have over 100 employees, like I said. The number recently, they just bought $100 million of deals in the last quarter. I think the number is actually $800 million worth of real estate that they own. You can look it up. It's legit. If you feel like you don't have a budget, start thinking like a business owner. I know that Terica mentioned that she's opened up her group to go to this next event. Freaking click the link and go for it. Why? Because the investment you make in that is not you spending money. That's what happens when you buy a bag. This is an investment in your business. All right. That investment will make you back money. ROI. That's what this game is really all about. The same is true with hiring people. Work your way from doing $2 an hour tasks to never doing those tasks again and hire someone else. That is my freaking message. My name is Hunter Thompson. I own a business called raisingcapital.com. Check it out. But regardless of any of that, if you guys go and send those text messages out and get some momentum, and just take it and keep executing, even if you suck and even if you're wrong most of the time, you'll still beat the crap out of people that are unwilling to try. So go for it.
I love it. I love it. Hunter, thank you so much, man, for pouring out. Those were gems, y'all, especially that beginner text message. Like, you guys can go take action immediately. Like, that's when we want you to take action now on that, because you're going to be surprised. Who actually already sent those? Hunter, I want to take a quick pulse. Who actually already sent some text out? Put a me in the chat. Don't lie to me. Don't lie to Hunter. If you already went and sent that text out just because you're like, hey, I'm an action taker, I want to see if there's anybody here that did it. Let's see. Put a me in the chat. Okay, I see. Somebody just DM me and said, I'm working on it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Tawana says me. Let's go. I love it. Well, thank you, Hunter, so much, and talking about the power of building a system to raise capital, right? And we appreciate you, man, for coming on here. Everybody, make sure you go hit up Hunter on Instagram. He's phenomenal. He always has so much valuable information to give out. So thank you so much, man, for coming up here. And you all just put a word of encouragement in the chat. Put thank you in the chat for letting Hunter come up here and give out some games. So listen, this is what I want to say. I saw a couple of people saying, but I'm just scared. I don't know. Like, just do it scared. Just send that text message. Even like Hunter said, even if you don't have a deal right now, like, listen, it's better to have these resources. It's better to have these connections. It's better to have the capital when you don't need it than to be searching for it when you need it. You guys know what I'm saying? V, you get what I'm saying? Like, it's better to go ahead and be prepared now. So what we're doing is, we know for a lot of people, capital is a bottleneck. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Capital is a bottleneck. You may go find an apartment building. You may go find a fix and flip. And some of y'all, you would say right now, you just don't know if you could take that down yourself, meaning you couldn't purchase that property yourself. So that's what we're doing here. We're building relationships. You heard me say yesterday, relationships are key. And so what Hunter was sharing with you is how you go build relationships and start talking to people. And you all listen. I saw some of you all say, hey, I don't have anybody in my circle that has cash. Y'all quit counting people's pockets. I want you to write that down. Quit counting people's pockets for them. Somebody may just have a savings account to the side you don't know about. Somebody may have something in their IRA you don't know about. Guess what, y'all? I made $75,000. Guess what? Okay, Miss Mills, I made $75,000 off one deal, one real estate deal. Guess who funded it? My cousin. Ooh. I did exactly what Hunter taught you guys. My cousin. I walked into a restaurant one day, and he said, Michael, how's real estate going? And we were literally at a restaurant. We saw each other. We hadn't seen each other in a few weeks. And I said, good. I said, hey, we actually are we got a couple deals we're looking at. He said, hey, that's awesome. Tell me more after. So I told him about these deals on this property. And I told him, I was like, hey, this is the deal we're looking at. And he said, hey, I got an extra, I think it was like $50,000, $100,000. He's like, I got something sitting on the side. I said, awesome, let's go in. Boom. We went and flipped a house. It only took us 30 days to flip the property, turn around and make $75,000. So quit counting people's pockets. Who do you got? Employers, your coworkers. Who do you got? Your family. Listen, y'all, business owners that you know, yeah, get creative. So y'all, look at this as the start of a machine that you can build, right? This is just one part of a mechanism, right? But start at just reaching out to people in your circle. All right. So listen, y'all, I'm excited because this next person that's about to come up, you guys ready to learn how to maybe invest in some apartments? Y'all, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. This level of information that you're receiving right now, this is property challenge level information. The property challenge, we bring in 5+ guests. Terica's teaching for 10+ hours. Man, you guys better go get your ticket. Drop in the chat, team. They got to go get their tickets right now. Thepropertychallenge.com. I need y'all to go get your ticket because listen, if you thought this was good, imagine when you spend 5 days with us, not counting the bonus sessions. Thepropertychallenge.com. Go get your seat. You need to get in there. Now, who we're about to bring up is Terica's business partner. Terica's business partner, somebody that y'all is crazy in love with the numbers. He breaks down numbers better, faster than anybody I know. And I promise you all, I think Terica would say that she would she probably she would be where she's at because Terica is like hungry, she's motivated. But a big piece of how she's got to where she is today is because this guy named Derek. Anybody know who Derek is? Anybody seen Derek G, Mr. One Chain? Let me know. Inner Circle know who's I'm talking about. Coach D. Listen, you guys are about to learn from a wizard whenever it comes to buy and hold investing, apartment investing. And this is a strategy that some of you all may want to lock in on. So I tell you, get your pen and paper, y'all, because I'm welcoming up to the stage Mr. One Chain himself, Coach Derek. What's up, D? Welcome up, brother.
What's up, gang? What's up? What's up? I hope y'all are doing amazing. Michael, thank you for that intro. Y'all give Hunter and Michael some love. Y'all, I'll tell you this. We've been doing real estate a minute, and I'll tell you guys a bit about, what I was doing before real estate. But here's what I've learned is that the two bottlenecks that there are to funding, number one, it's going to be knowledge. Number two, it's going to be capital. Real estate is a volume game. Right? It's a volume game, and volume game requires what? Volume. It requires a lot of properties. Well, if you're looking for funding, what does it require? A lot of funding, specifically a lot of investors. And so this is something that you can work on now, right? Like you don't have to wait. You guys have already started the knowledge part, already started addressing one of the bottlenecks. And we're going to jump right in it, y'all, because we are talking about something super fun tonight, how to buy apartments. Someone say out loud to yourself, apartments. Now, everyone in the room has a specific thing that they're interested in investing in. And you may have come on to the Buying Income Summit thinking, I want to do X. And now you may be thinking, I want to do Y. My goal right now is to convince you why you should do apartments above all others. Now, have you ever looked back and said, knowing what I know now, what would I do different? This is that conversation. Knowing what I know now as a real estate investor, a successful real estate investor, here's what I would do different. So a little bit about myself. First and foremost, y'all, I'm a kingdom-minded believer. I'm a husband and I'm a dad to 3 young boys. They're absolutely going to be killers. I think they're all going to be pro soccer players. I'm pretty excited about that. I am a first-generation millionaire. I'm the first person in my family to hit millionaire status. My background before I got into real estate was in corporate and government finance, specifically buying and selling energy within a power company, a municipal power company, as well as later on a senior CapEx modeler for multiple billion-dollar projects. Now, what is a CapEx modeler? Y'all, it's not like a professional modeler. If I could do like the cheesy, lame dad joke, it's a different kind of model, okay? It's the financial model, right? The pro forma model, the thing that tells you if you should invest in something. Does that sound kind of useful to what we're doing right now? I have a master's in business, a bachelor's degree in finance. I do still use those to this day, but right now, all these things do is add letters to the back of my name. I'll say that, I'm saying everything that I've learned how to make money, y'all, has been done, as they say, in the streets. So right now, I own over 320 income-producing properties. Y'all, and this is just the beginning because I'm on the way to $1 billion in assets under management. This is a goal that Terica and I are united on. We want 16,000 units. Now, let me ask y'all this. Do y'all think we're buying 16,000 units solo? Do y'all think I'm writing a check for 16,000 units? The answer is no. What we're doing is we're bringing people with us. You know, our whole lives, y'all, we are taught to believe in a lot of cases that wealth and that success is a zero-sum game, meaning that in order for me to win, you have to lose. In order for you to win, somebody else has to lose. And that's just not true. That's just not true. And so I will tell you this, that my journey in real estate started in a room just like this. I jokingly say that I was Terica's first mentee, you know, the first person that she really taught to invest in real estate, but it's not true. There were several others, including Brittany, who's in a room with me, that Terica taught to invest in real estate. And when I started out, y'all, I was in a position that I think is probably pretty similar to where many of you are, where, look, I have a great job. I'm making, you know, decent income. I have freedom to do a lot of things, but guess what? It ain't mine. And number two, I'm going to be working probably till I die, right? At least till I retire. And I don't want to look forward to retirement. Does that make sense? Like, I want to enjoy this stuff now. So how can I create income to passively support my life and the things that I like to do? I'm a little bit bougie. You know, this is a learned trait. Okay, I wasn't born like this, but once I learned, hey, I can like things and unapologetically, y'all, I'm like all in. So we got to buy real estate to fund the things that I like. Does that make sense? So why apartments? This is, someone said, why flax linen sheets? I got flax linen sheets. So there you go. That's all you need to know about me, okay? So why apartments? Apartments, specifically multifamily, the reason I like these is because of three things. Number one, we get cash flow from them. Now, when you think about investing in real estate, most people just think about the cash flow. That is, I put in money and I get money back. That's cash flow. But do you know, and would you believe me if I told you that cash flow, if you zoom out and look at the long-term picture, it is the least beneficial thing about investing in multifamily. It is the least beneficial thing. Number two and number three are going to outpace cash flow after a few years. Number two is equity creation. What is that? We can buy a property and do certain things to it to increase its value. So if we buy it for $1 million and we do a couple things, maybe we add a little bit of renovations for $100K, we do some other stuff, and we can increase its value to $2 million. Does that sound like fake math? It is not. I'm going to show you why. I'm going to show you exactly how we can do it. It's a thing called force appreciation. The third thing is depreciation. This is a tax vehicle. This is something that allows you to defer your taxable income to the end of this investment. And guess what? If we defer our taxes to the end, we got to pay them when we sell the property. But what if we buy another property like it? Guess what? We can keep deferring those. How long can you defer taxes? If you have an accountant's room, any accountants in the room, you can say forever, okay? But in apartments, what drives the value? You see, in single family and in most other asset classes, the value is going to be set by comps. That is what sells nearby. But multifamily is unique in that the value is not set necessarily all the time by the comps. That helps support the value, but it's set by the income, specifically net operating income. So here's the scenario. Let's say you raise rents on a 10-unit property, $100 a unit. That building is producing at an 8% cap rate right now. So let me do some quick math and I'm going to dive into this so it's going to make sense in a minute. $100, which is our increase, times 10 units, times 12 months, is we have $12,000 more per year going to our net operating income line item. If we divide that $12,000 by our 8% cap rate, that adds $150,000 new dollars in value. Y'all, we didn't do anything. I didn't raise money to renovate the property. All I did was had the foresight to buy a property that had potential for rent increase. And then I responsibly and gradually, because guess what? I care about my tenants. I'd rather give my tenant a little bit of discount and them stay with me for 10, 15 years than I would for, me to try and gouge wherever I can, right? We try to do this for the long term, but I'm going to responsibly increase that rent $100 per unit per month up to the market rate. And just doing that, y'all, adds $150,000 of value on that property. And guess what I can do with that? I can tap into that for new assets. If I sell it, that goes to the bottom line. All these different things you can do with it. So this is the sky high view. If I were to end my presentation now, I think you would leave with something, but we ain't done. We're going to keep going. With multifamily, income equals value. Because of this, the entire multifamily, commercial, you name it, that industry runs on one thing, and it is cap rate. Cap rate is short for capitalization rate. And there's a few different ways to calculate this, right? The way that we're looking at here is our value of the property is going to be our NOI divided by the cap rate. Guess what else we can do? We can flip this thing around. So check this out. Our cap rate equals our net operating income divided by value, and our NOI equals our cap rate times our value. We just like reflect with me back to algebra where you have x plus y equals z, okay? And you got to move the y over to the other side of the formula. This is cap rate, y'all. Just knowing this formula, like I'm like pounding my forehead. Just knowing this formula, you can underwrite almost every single multifamily property you ever come across. If you can divide and you can multiply, say me in chat. That should be everybody in here. And guess what? If sometimes you're not as quick, like sometimes I'm not as quick, so what do I use? I use this fancy thing called a calculator, right? There is more computing power in this machine than the first mission to the moon. Can you believe that? In this little bitty calculator here. So what cap rate does though, is it'll tell you that higher income equals a higher value, lower income equals a lower value. They're directly related. The seller can't just put a price, whatever they want, and or expect that they can get that price. It has to be supported by income. It does also have to be supported by comps, but guess what those comps value is based off of? It's based off of income. That math either works or it doesn't work. And your job is to know the math better than they do. Terica and I just exited a deal, like literally yesterday, just exited a deal that we were looking at. It was 132 units in Texas. From afar, it looked like the perfect property. But what happened? We got in the numbers. They sent me, their P&L, their profit and loss statement. We're going through that math. And guess what? The math doesn't math. There are certain items that they're calling out and they're trying to footnote it. Look, we smarter than that. My job is to know the math better than they do. Okay? That is my role. That is the value that I contribute to our beloved partnership. Okay? The math either works or it doesn't. The building's income is the building's value. I want you to say that to yourself. The building's income is the building's value. It is only worth as much as it can produce. So a key factor in calculating cap rate is going to be net operating income. Now, this is a simple formula. Someone say we subtract, and that's it. We're going to take our rents minus our vacancy minus our operating expenses, and boom, we got net operating income. This is simpler than you think, okay? So we're going to use an example similar to our last example. Let's say our gross rents are $900 per month. So 10 times 900 per month, and we're going to multiply that times 12 months. That gets us $108,000 per year. Bullet point number 2, my vacancy is 7%. So this is $7,500 per month. We're going to subtract that from our rent, and that's going to give us our EGI, our effective gross income of $100,000 and some change. We got to round a little bit. Off of that, we're going to estimate some operating expenses. Now, where does this 42% come from? I made the presentation. It came from me, okay? But usually we're going to fall around this price, okay? And this is going to include taxes, insurance, maintenance, management, repairs. You know what it doesn't include? It doesn't include your debt, okay? It doesn't include your debt, and I'll talk about that in a sec. But this is going to leave us with a net operating income of $58,000 per year. Look to the right. Here's our NOI calculation. Gross rents, what do we say? Minus vacancy of $7,500, minus expenses of $42,000, equals our NOI of $58,000. Y'all follow me so far? Say I'm good. I'm baptizing y'all with a fire hose right now. Okay, this is how we do it. So why is debt not included in this? Let me zoom out a second. Would you agree that if we're in a room with 100 investors, let's say everybody in here's got $10 million cash that they're trying to invest. Let's say me and CJ specifically, all right? Me and CJ are in a room. We each have 10 million. I say, hey, I want to buy $10 million of property. I'm going to buy it cash. But CJ says, no, I'm smarter than that. I want to leverage that 10 million and use that as a 20% down payment, which allows me to buy $50 million of real estate. Now, who wants to do what? Would you want to buy 10 million or would you want to buy 50 million? Let me know. You want to buy 10 million or you want to buy 50 million? Well, I heard CJ, so I changed my mind. I want to do 50 million with him. So we're going to go in together. We're going to do 100 million, okay? Because that's a good idea, CJ. But in two scenarios, one with cash, one with debt, the net income, not net operating income, the net income is going to be very, very different. Why? Because the cost of that debt is going to be substantial. $40 million of debt is going to cost you a pretty penny. So let's say we both buy our properties. 5 years down the road, we both list them at the same time and we want to go to sell them. How does a buyer know which property is a good deal if they're looking at net income? They don't. Guess why? Because first off, if I go and get a loan and CJ goes and gets a loan, we're going to get different terms. I might get 7% interest. He might get 6.5%. I might prefer a 20-year term. He may prefer a 10-year term. Why? Because that's just what I like. I am what I am. I like what I like. Cap rate uses NOI. And because it uses NOI, it pulls debt out of the equation altogether. And it creates a level playing field that we can measure properties against one another. Does that make sense? So what we're doing is we're trying to compare apples to apples. I probably could have just said apples to apples instead of that whole long thing. And y'all have been like, D, that makes sense. But sometimes I like to make things unnecessarily difficult. Again, I am what I am, y'all. I ain't trying to change that part of me at this point, all right? So let's keep going. So we get to cap rate. And let's see, we get to cap rate. So again, this is short for capitalization rate. Using the same example that we had before, our NOI is 58,000. Where did that come from? It came from this slide here, the big red block that says 58,000, all right? So NOI is 58,000. Bullet point number 2, our market cap rate is 8%. Where do I get that from? Again, I made the presentation, y'all. This is the wonderful thing about doing presentations. You can just put whatever number you want. But if I was in an actual market, how would I look up cap rate? The same way I look up real estate comps. I'm going to look up a bunch of other commercial multifamily deals that are similar. If I'm looking at a 100 unit, guess what? I'm looking for something that's between 80 and 120. If I can't find anything, I'm going to expand that search a little bit. And then I'm going to grab that NOI off of those sold properties and the sale price as best as I can. And then I can use the cap rate formula to calculate those cap rates for each property. And I'm going to take an average. And guess what? I got my market cap rate. Is this an exact science? Absolutely not. It is absolutely not. This is why we invest where we know, because I know the pulse of our area. I know the market cap. I know that stabilized units will sell anywhere from between 65 and 75,000. I know that greatly disparaged units, I'm talking things that almost need to be torn down, are going to be probably between 10 and 15. Where do we shoot? We shoot for between $20,000 and $30,000 per door. Why do we do that? Well, first off, because that's my number, okay? But if we're all in for 30 and I can sell it for 65, guess what? I just doubled my money. Off of what? Not cash flow. I double it off of that equity, that forced appreciation. Now, it is a lot of work, a lot more work for sure when you don't buy stabilized, because we have to go in, we have to do construction. We have a whole property management staff that is responsible for stabilizing these properties. But this is where 8% came from. So some quick algebra. To determine our value, we're going to take $58,255 and divide it by 8%. So if you're on your calculator, that's 0.08. And that gives us a magical number of $728,000. Okay? Now look off to the right here. So there's 3 ways to use cap rate. We're going to hit this again. Cap rate is NOI divided by price. If we want to find the value, then we take our net operating income and divide it by the cap rate of the market. And if we want to find our max all-in price, y'all, maximum allowable offer, it's a little more complex than that because, you know, your offer or your price in this case is not just what you buy it for, but it's what you're in it for, which is why I say all-in price. If we buy something that needs construction, I want to make sure that that's factored into it. So if we want to buy at a 9% cap rate, we would take NOI of 58,255 and divide it by 9%, and that number is actually going to be lower than 728. But this deal specifically, we comfortable buying it at 8%. So 58,000 divided by 8% is 728,000. This is my max number. If this property needs $128,000 worth of work, what am I going to try and buy it for? $600,000. Y'all follow me? I saw someone just scratch their head. It's going to be all right. We're going to make it. So you see that $728,000 number on the bottom right? That's my all-in cost, the maximum I should pay to be all in on this thing. So if I have $128,000 of construction, I'm going to take that and subtract it from that $728,000. That's the maximum that I should pay for this property. We're doing it consistently, y'all. So the process of buying multifamily, this is the roadmap. If you've ever thought, how do I buy an apartment? This is it right here. This is the full play. Number one, we got to identify a property. It sounds simple, but this is the most labor-intensive part of the process. Maybe not true. Maybe before we buy it, it's the most labor-intensive part. My property managers would be like, dude, what? So identify a property. Why does it take so much time? Well, because we have to analyze anywhere from dozens to hundreds of sites. Y'all, these are like real, but real approximate numbers. If I look at 100 properties, maybe 2 or 3 of them are worth looking at deeper. What I mean by that is I'll request financial information from the listing agent, and I'll dive deeper on that. Of those that I dive deeper on, if I analyze 20, I might find 1 or 2 that's worth submitting a letter of intent, an LOI, which is actually our step number 2. Of those that we submit LOIs on, maybe 10% get accepted, if that, if we're lucky. The last deal that I just mentioned, the one that we just bounced out of, we were at the letter of intent phase. We hadn't yet entered number 3, a purchase and sell agreement or a PSA, because we were kind of playing chicken with the seller a bit. They were supposed to give us information before we signed the PSA, and they were slow walking it because they're trying to get us under the PSA, because then we have to put down a $50K deposit. And there's more of a chance that they get to keep that if we exit. Well, guess what? We're smarter than that. Okay. So we're going by the letter of our contract here. You said this would come to us before the PSA. It has not, so we cannot move forward. But of the amount that get to the PSA, y'all, we're talking, less than 1% of everything we look at. So if I want to close 10 deals a year, how many properties do you think I got to look at? Probably 1,000. We're probably close to that. So if you're saying, hey, I've been looking at real estate online, but I can't find anything, my solution to you, and this is a foolproof solution, it is undefeated. You just need to look at more properties. And if you're finding them, but you can't get them closed or you can't get them under contract, the solution is you have to be faster. You have to be faster than the competition. Because for every person out there that's like hesitating and thinking like, man, should I do it? You have somebody like me who I am highly analytical. Sometimes the numbers will paralyze me. This is why Terica Smith is a fantastic business partner, because she'll smack me back to reality and say, hey, we don't need perfect information right now. We need to be under contract. I need to take this out of the hands of other people. Okay? And guess what? We get under contract, and then she's like, all right, now go do that thing you were just doing. Do that again. Okay? Like go in the weeds again and dive deep in the numbers. Okay? So that leads us to the fourth part of buying multifamily, which is going to be due diligence. What are we doing in this stage? There's two things that are my focus here. Number one, it's to complete my underwriting, to dial that in all the way, because up to this point, things like insurance and all of that, I'm estimating. But when I'm in due diligence, what do you think I'm doing? I'm calling the agent, I'm getting a quote, right? We're dialing in as many numbers as we can to take away that margin of error. And we're also looking for things on the property, right? Like, is there something we didn't expect? Like, is there foundational work that we didn't expect that needs to get done? All of that funnels into underwriting. The second thing is we're going to build our funding stack. Does that sound familiar? Does it make sense why we might have put Hunter in front of y'all now, right? because funding is a big part of it. And you don't want to go into due diligence not having have thought about funding at all. We want to have some type of plan, okay? We don't have to have it all figured out, but we need some type of plan. So let's say we get through due diligence, everything's kosher, we're ready to rock. What do we do next? We're going to close. Can I see it? Okay. Yeah. All right, we out. We're going to close. And then once we close, we're going to execute on the construction and then transition to property management. Y'all, this is the full play. Y'all can screenshot this. If you ever thought, how do I buy multifamily? How do I buy apartments? It is as simple as this. But of course, there's a little more to it. Underwriting and knowing the numbers is a vast majority of this, because guess what? When we're under due diligence and we're having inspections done on the property, how do I know if the foundation's bad? Do y'all think that I'm crawling, in spaces? I'm not doing that. I told y'all already I was bougie, okay? I don't want to get my knees dirty. I don't want to get my pants dirty. I'm wearing hold on, look. I got the fresh white J's. I'm not trying to inspect the foundation. Those days are behind me, okay? I'm going to have a licensed specialist do this. So really, if we zoom out, our job now is to do what? It's to underwrite. It's to put the deal together. For lack of better terms, we're going to call it project management. That's what we do. So analyzing the deal. Let's look at this same one we've been looking at. 10 unit Class B, asking price of $850,000. This is something that the broker might send over. They might say, hey, I have 10 units. They're all occupied. Current rents are at $750. Pro forma rents are at $950 a unit. What is pro forma? Pro forma is a fancy Latin word that means forward looking. It's a projection, okay? They're projecting rents. So when you say pro forma rents, they're saying, hey, we're getting $750 for it now, but you could get $950. The seller's claimed NOI is $72,000 and their claimed cap rate is $8,500. So we just talked about, y'all, how multifamily its value is income driven. So do you see now how easily a seller can influence their listing price? I mean, they just added $200 here. I don't know if that's real. My reaction is these numbers mean nothing without context. They're literally worthless. They're not even worth the paper they're on until I can confirm some of this stuff. So I'm going to take their math. I'm going to ignore it, but I am going to use it as a baseline to build my own. My methodology when I was building large capital models, I'm talking, y'all, these spreadsheets were magnificent. I mean, I think about them to this day and I'm just like, dang, man, most people will never see those things because it's confidential information, but golly, I wish I could share them. They were wonderful works of art and built not just by me, but we had a team. It was amazing. But guess what? At the end of the day, underwriting, modeling, all of those things, what is it about? It's about contesting numbers. It's about confirming numbers. It's about stress testing numbers. Can they withstand the deal? And this is what you have to do on every single deal. So, couple steps. Number one, we are going to review our revenue sources. So what are people actually paying right now? So current rents, we know for a fact because we have what's called a rent roll. This is something that you would get from the seller that shows a list of all the tenants, what they're charging for rent. It shows their lease agreement term, all the good stuff, okay? Based off of that rent roll, we're getting $90K per year, but they're saying we can get $108K by increasing to $900 a month. So there's a gap here of $18,000. This is where we can eat, okay? So here's the rule. These are foundational rules. And if you appreciate this, say me, because I'm telling y'all, these were rules that despite all of the wonderful education formally that I've had, I didn't learn this until I got in a room like this. I did not learn this until I started walking with other investors and started seeing, hey, here's what they do. Here's what works well for them. Here's mistakes I've made. Please learn from me. Number one, never pay according to pro forma rents if the property is not stabilized. Never pay according to forward-looking projected rents if it's not stabilized. Why? Look at the top. 750 is what they have now. If that 90,000 a year in NOI is accurate, do you think I should pay them value according to that 90,000? Potentially, yes. But if they're projecting 900 a month, but they haven't done the work to get those units up to 900 a month in rent, should I be paying them that premium for that property? Absolutely not. I feel my heart rate increasing because this makes me mad. Because sellers do this all the time. This literally just happened to us. It is, when we get into a multifamily or apartment deal, I expect this to happen. This is the dance that has to happen during negotiations. What I'm going to underwrite to is what the leases say they are today. That's fair to me. Of course, what they are today minus any work that's got to get done on the property. You know what I mean? The upside that they mention is real, but it's not guaranteed because guess what? Markets change, conditions change. We could get in there and say, okay, well, the reason, we can't just increase the rent. The reason they're not increasing is because the comps for those $900 a month units on other properties are nicer. They've got granite counters. They've got multiple bathrooms. They got covered parking, like things that actually provide additional benefits that we would have to invest more to be able to achieve. The thing is I'm not going to let you as the seller benefit from work that I have to do after purchasing. I want to be able to benefit from that. The seller, however, is going to want you to pay for the upside before it ever exists. That's a hard pass for me. So here's how we calculate the actual NOI. Remember, gross income minus vacancies minus expenses is our net operating income. So at current rents on the left side, 90,000 minus a 7% vacancy of 6,300 gives us an EGI, an estimated gross income of 83,000 minus expenses of 35,000 gives us an NOI of 48,000. On the other side, 108 minus 7,500 minus 42,000 gives us 58,000 in net income. So current NOI, this is how I think of it. Current NOI is what you're buying. Stabilized NOI, which is that pro forma, that forward looking, is what you're building. If this is good, say good in chat. I want to know y'all are getting this. All the stuff I had, y'all, all the work that I did before getting into real estate, I didn't know this. I did not know this at all. You want to know how I learned this? Off of being in a room like this, specifically with Terica, doing napkin math. One thing you will learn about Terica is she loves to do paperwork. I say paperwork. She loves to do her analysis on paper, okay? I am a spreadsheet guy. But how do you think I learned this? On the back of a napkin, y'all. It is not more complicated than adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing. You have to execute on top of that, of course, but guess what? You can live in both worlds. But it's in places like this where you gain that knowledge to know like exactly what's possible, right? I was in a position where I was, like I said, I loved what I did. I was having a great time doing it, building a great career for myself. But when I saw this, I'm thinking, hold on, dude. My head hurts. You telling me I can work far less with a much higher earning potential, and that earning potential is passive, and I don't even have to quit my job to do it? Anyways, I'm getting ahead of myself here. So step 3, what is this thing worth? We're assuming that local markets are going to sell at 8% cap rate. At our current NOI, or at the current property NOI, that's $750 a month. Remember, we just calculated this right here, those bottom two boxes, 48,000 and 58,000. 48,000 divided by 8% is 606,000. At a stabilized NOI, that 58,000 divided by 8% is 728,000. It's a $122,000 difference. But guess what? The seller's asking 850. But even in the best case scenario, y'all, this thing is not worth 850 according to the market. So when we get to the point of negotiating, this is what we're negotiating. We're not saying this is just what I feel like paying. I mean, we may say that, but what we really mean is, hey, the numbers don't support your ask of $850,000. plus I need 150,000 to work. So I'm going to offer you 650 minus 450 or minus 150, which is going to give me about 456,000. The seller's going to be, oh my gosh, that's so insulting. That's fine. But I'm not about to get into a deal just because I don't want to insult you. The amount of people that have gotten burned, y'all, in real estate is countless. If we were to really do a survey, I would bet you that of people that got into real estate, looking at those that are still in it versus those that left, I bet you one of the biggest reasons is because they lost money on a deal. How do you avoid losing money? You know your numbers on the front. When you make your money in real estate is when you buy it. Not when you own it. It's not when you sell it. You make it when you buy it. If you buy right, it is far easier to turn a profit. But this asking price, what does it actually mean? So if we run the numbers, and you have to trust me on this, at $850,000, at that $48,000 net operating income, if you divide, so 48,546 divided by 850, that's going to give you a 5.7% cap rate. Let me tell you a trick, y'all. On most properties, that 5% of your cap rate, if you have debt, an 80% leverage position, meaning that there's an 80% loan on the property, that's going to account for 5% of cash flow, like what you take. So if you have debt on this property and you buy it at 850, you are making 0.7% return. You can get a better return in a savings account. Just putting your money in a savings account and just letting it ride, not doing anything with it. If you buy it at 850, you're paying $243, almost $250,000 over what the current income supports. You're paying for value add that hasn't happened yet. But you still have to create it. So you're basically buying into income that hasn't been created, and there's a chance that it won't get created. In which case, guess what happens? If things start to turn over and you go to sell this property, what do you think you're going to have to sell it for? You think you're going to get 850? No, because someone like me is going to come and say, hey, I'm only paying 600 for this thing, minus any other, deferred maintenance, right? This is maintenance that you've not done on the property because you don't have the cash to do it. That's what I'm going to buy it for. So again, what is this thing worth? At the current net operating income, it's worth 606. Stabilized, it's worth 728. But they're asking 850. I'm not doing it, y'all. We're going to buy this thing at 606, or we're not going to buy it at all. So we're going to make our offer, right? And our offer is going to be for $580,000. We're going to put a down payment of $145,000. We've got about $15,000 at closing, so that's going to put our total cash in of about $160,000. Okay? So with our NOI, with our debt service, we're going to net about $10,000 at current rents in cash flow. If we just buy it and don't do anything to it, we're going to make a 6% cash on cash. Honestly, y'all, it's solid. With debt, that's super solid because keep in mind, this is one of 3 pieces. We're still creating equity. We're paying down the loan. That also adds equity to the property as we pay down that principal over time. And then we're getting the tax write-off, not just of the depreciation on the building itself, but we're also getting the tax write-off on the interest that we pay on this loan. But check this out. If we increase those rents to 900 like we planned, our NOI jumps up to 58. Now we're on the right side, the red column. Our cash flow is 19,000. Just by increasing it $150 per unit per month, and our cash on cash doubles, y'all. Not only that, but that $9,000 in extra cash flow, or that $10,000 a year in extra NOI, is going to add about $80,000 to $90,000 worth of value to the property. So if I'm a savvy investor, you want to know what I'm going to do? I'm going to potentially refinance out 80% of that if the property can support that cash. 80% of 80,000 is 64 grand. I can use that 64 grand to go run this play again. Does that make sense? If I buy into a property with much greater equity and much greater cash flow potential, then I can continue to recycle that cash over and over again. Someone say power. This is the power of real estate. And Suzetta, you have it right on. You said the Burr method. This is a bigger Burr method. It's a bigger Burr method. So what we're going to do is we're going to pay for what it is, not what it could be. However, we're going to create wealth off of what it could be, not what it is. We're going to pay for what it is, not what it could be, but we're going to create wealth off of what it could be, not what it is. This is how you create long-term, recyclable, rolling over wealth. Over and over and over again. This is extremely repeatable. Ask me how I know. This is what we do, y'all. This is the play that we've run over and over and over again. And honestly, this is the type of play that we teach on the property challenge. I mean, we're going to go a little bit deeper on the property challenge for sure. How do I know? Because I was looking at my presentation from the property challenge in February today, and I'm thinking, dude, I don't know how I got through all of that in 35 minutes. The team will say you didn't, but I strongly disagree. And you know, I'm going to pull the recording tomorrow so I can get my receipts, okay? Moving on. Some people call it petty. Around here, we just call it competitive, all right? If we all like this, it's okay, all right? If we all competitive like this, it's completely fine. So here's the pro forma, right? The projection versus the reality. So their pro forma, they're using $950 a month. They're going to estimate this thing maybe even higher. So instead of 900, 950, look at that vacancy rate, 3%. Y'all, stabilized property is 6 to 8% vacancy. 3% is unrealistic. What are they doing? They're increasing that NOI artificially to get that price up. This is the type of stuff that you have to be very, very careful for because they will sneak this in. Like, I mean, this vacancy thing, the elevated vacancy, I see it maybe out of one out of every 3 or 4 deals that we get deep on. But they still try and sneak it in. Expense ratio, too conservative at 35%, leading to an NOI of $72,000. Well, now their performance showing a $900,000 valuation. But we're going to bring it back to reality, y'all. Because we're paying for what? What it is. We're going to eat off of what it could be. Our valuation comes in at $606,000. Now here's the payoff, y'all. We talked about forced appreciation. This is number 2 of the 3 benefits, the equity creation that you have. Let's say we bought this thing at $580. The seller saw the light and they said, dude, you're so good at math. I'm so impressed. I'm just inspired that I'm going to sell you this property for exactly what you ask. Does that happen? Hey, it does. Start now, right? 2026 is the year of big things, okay? But we're going to bring those rents to market over an 18-month period. Again, bringing our new NOI to $58,000 at our market cap rate of 8%. We're still at that valuation of $728,000. If we bought it at $580, our new value is $728. What did we just do? Yeah, we just created almost $150,000 worth of value. If we put in $160,000 is what we put in, we almost doubled our money if we were to sell it as soon as it stabilized. This is what I'm talking about. So, real estate investing, as I close, is formulaic in nature. What does that mean? It is formula-based. The execution side is kind of another story. But even then, guess what? It's process-based. It's the same processes over and over and over again. We gather information and we calculate. I'll tell y'all this. There is a nifty, and Terica mentioned this yesterday, it's a tool that we developed called the Deal Analyzer that is meant to help get through the volume of real estate very, very quickly. Titanium, I mean, y'all get it. You know what I'm saying? But this is something that we developed. And, we've got a ton of other stuff, y'all, that we drop on the challenge as well, including rate sheets for estimating construction. Some of that is even in the Deal Analyzer. Tons and tons of things. But what did I tell you earlier? It's about the room. Because I had personal experience, my personal journey. I had the education, okay? I had the success. I was doing great things. I wanted something a little bit different. And it wasn't until I got in the room that changed. Y'all, people don't have any qualm dropping $20,000 to $40,000 to $50,000 a year or a semester on higher education. Again, ask me how I know. I've been there. I've had to pay off those student loans, y'all. I am thankful for my degrees. But the things that I know about making money and about making real world wealth were not learned at a university. They were learned on the back of a napkin, connecting with someone like Terica. These are the type of rooms that you got to get in. The what to gather and calculate is just knowledge that can be gained in the right room. You guys see that link in chat, thepropertychallenge.com. We would love to have y'all. I cannot wait to dive deeper on this and other stuff during the 5-day challenge coming up. I absolutely hope to see you guys there. Y'all stay blessed. Peace.
Everybody give it up for Derek. Let us know in the chat if you thought that was phenomenal. I know that was deep, y'all. That was deep. Amazing information. That's the kind of level of information you're getting in that property challenge. If you're going to join the property challenge because you're like, yo, there's more to this than meets the eye, just go ahead and put working on it in the chat. You're going to be in that 5 days. 5 days. All right. So listen, this is what I want to do. I think we owe you a full explanation of what's inside the property challenge. And Terica wants to come up and say a few words. So she's going to come to the stage in just a few seconds. Kayla's working on it. Zelda's working on it. You can go to thepropertychallenge.com. But this is what I want to let you know. Last night, I asked for permission from you all to bring up some students, some people that actually went through the 5-day challenge, people that sat through summits like this, people that sat through webinars and master classes that we've hosted. Now they're winning. Now they're finding results because they followed the system. Everybody put in the chat, follow the system. So tonight, after Terica comes in, what we're going to be doing is I'm going to bring up a panel, a student success panel. I'm bringing up 3 to 4 individuals that went through the same classes you're going through, and now they're finding wins. They're taking down deals. They're making offers. All right, so make sure you stay in the room. That's going to be a powerful session. But anyways, everybody put a fire emoji in the chat for Miss Terica real quick. Let's bring her back up to the stage. I'm going to let her go in for a few minutes here and give you guys one last quick talk before we go into our student success panel. So if you are ready for Terica to take the stage, go ahead and put a fire emoji in the chat real quick. Put a fire emoji in the chat real quick if you're excited, because y'all, listen, she's giving out so much information this week, and we're not even done. We have a day 3. Everybody put day 3 in the chat. I think y'all forgot that. We got a day 3 tomorrow where we got Smitty the GOAT coming in and talking about how to get business funding and credit for your business. We got more. So T, you over-delivered. You over-delivered for sure.
Yes. Awesome. Y'all do me a favor, drop some fire in the chat for Michael. He has been holding us down just as our MC, just amazing and phenomenal. Of course, I want you guys, like, if you've been enjoying these past few days, these past 48 hours have been fire for you. They've been life-changing for you. Drop some ones in the chat right now. Drop some ones in the chat. So if you're anything like me, right, which I remember when I was going to real estate school and I was trying to figure out how do I actually get business? Because how many of us know just because we go to school for something don't necessarily mean that we are experienced and ready to go in that field. Like when I went to real estate school, do you know they taught me nothing about a contract? They taught me nothing about a contract. They taught me no type of tricks to get buyers. I didn't know how to find sellers. You know what they taught me in real estate school was the law. That was it, the law. And so once, and for those of you who do not know the story, I want to share it with you real briefly. I was fresh in Lafayette after Hurricane Katrina. We were trapped in the city for 3 days, and it was just excruciating. I thought it was the end of the world. I thought everybody was. I thought the rapture was here, right? I thought I didn't make it to the other side, to be honest with you guys. And I remember being in the city, and I'm like, there's nobody coming to save us. The people that are at the bottom are left behind. And have you ever watched a movie where you've seen all of these really rich billionaires? They go inside of a bunker whenever doomsday come, and they already paid for it in advance. I'm telling y'all, they doing that in real life right now, just to be honest with you guys. And I remember thinking, like, we are not invited to the bunker. We didn't make the cut. And so when I got to Lafayette, Louisiana, I had no education. I didn't really know what I was going to do, but I knew that I did not want to ever go through that again. Like, I never wanted to rely on the government to be able to save me and my children from a natural disaster. So, of course, we lost a lot of family during Hurricane Katrina. And when we made it out, you know, it was a few of us and we were all scattered. And this was before they had social media, and this was before Facebook and Instagram and all of that stuff. And so we would look at a list every single day that was provided by Red Cross, and we would see if our families were on there. Well, long story short, we end up finding everybody. They were here in Lafayette, Louisiana, and that's kind of how this became my breeding ground, if you would, where I started birthing different opportunities. But when I tell you, there's no worse feeling than being a mother and not being able to bring your children to safety, watching your children in that same diaper for 2+ days because you couldn't afford diapers, and because no gas stations, there was no gas, it was just chaos in the city. And so because I had traveled and sold magazines earlier in my life, I knew that the people I were talking to all said they were in real estate. So naturally, after Hurricane Katrina, I went to real estate school because I thought I had to have a real estate license to do it. So I'm sitting in class and I'm learning all of this law that I know nothing about, and they're teaching me all of these things. I am so lost and confused. So I go to the PSI exam, and that's where we go to take our real estate exam. And y'all, I barely passed it out the class. I made a 70% in class, and that was after 3 times of taking the test. So the PSI exam is where you go and get licensed by the board. And once you get licensed by the board, then you're just a real estate agent. Now you got to go and become a realtor, which now you got to go to your local association and apply to be a part of the member of their board. I didn't know all of this. And so I remember whenever I was in real estate school and I'm doing my hardest to try to pass the exam, I finally passed the exam. And then after 7 times, I finally passed the PSI exam. It is a hard test, guys. Shout out to all the realtors that's on this call. Shout out to the ones who have failed that test and still getting back up, trying again. It is not an easy test. It's up there with the insurance tests. They make them where they can keep a lot of people out. So shout out to you guys who's really, really putting forth the effort. Well, I end up passing that test, y'all, and now I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm about to be rich. All of these houses I went to, I'm about to be rich because guess what? I got this piece of paper. And when I tell you, I got my butt spanked on the first day of real estate. I knew nothing about real estate. I knew what the law said, but I had no clue on how to apply it. I say that because some of you been sitting here for 2 days now, and you're like, what is my next step? What should I do next, right? Like, I know that I need to continue learning. If that's you, put me in the chat. Like, you know, you need to continue learning. You know that, one, you done met a lot of the people on my team. You really like the synergy. You like the energy. And you believe that you can learn a lot more from us. Just put me in the chat right now. I want to make sure I'm not missing it. Because if you're anything like me, you're probably still saying, I am not ready to be done with this summit. There is still so much more I have to learn. If that's you, put a 1 in the chat. There is still so much more that I have to learn. That is why I created the 5-day property challenge. I created the 5-day challenge because I said, if you give me 5 days and I can challenge you to be your very best self, I can challenge you to be inside of a room where people are actually doing what it is that you're looking to do, what it is you're wanting to learn. Like, that's some of you in here that's wanting more information. You want a chance and opportunity to be able to move forward with it. But the education that you've gotten so thus far, you know that it needs just a little bit more with it, right? If that's you and you say, look, it just needs a little bit more, put me in the chat right now. The reason why we talk about this 5-day challenge, and y'all, I only host this twice a year. I'm not a person who's on the internet 24/7 selling you guys webinars and classes, and I don't do that, right? Like, I have my webinars where I love giving free content and offering people a chance to be in the room. But when I say I only do the 5-day challenge twice a year, it's because in real life, guys, I'm a real estate developer. If you go to Google right now and you type in my name, Terica Lynn Smith, and I know some of you are, it's going to tell you that I do this in real life. It's not going to bring up this online teaching first because it's not what I do first. I really have real receipts in real life, and I've been doing this for a long period of time. And what I realized when I was creating the 5-day property challenge was that a lot of people people get lost inside the first steps of it and they never convert to the next half. And I always ask myself, like, why is it just 1% of people that makes it? Can y'all set my slides up right, please? Why is it only 1% of people that makes it and the other 99% of the people, they stay stuck? Why is that? I'll give you guys just a real life scenario real quick if you give me 5 minutes. Whenever I got to Lafayette, Louisiana after Hurricane Katrina, I came with several family members. FEMA gave us all $10,000 each. I will not lie to you. I blew that $10,000. It was the most money I ever had in my life, and I was super excited about it. We was eating out at Red Lobster. We was eating steaks. We were living it up, right? It was extreme. It was a good life, okay? Nobody in my family never had that much money. But guess what, y'all? We all was doing the exact same thing. So if you can imagine a line drawn across the field, and we're all standing at that exact same line, and we're all doing the exact same thing. And if you imagine across that line, you have to run, and you run until you get to the field goal, or not the field goal, the touchdown line, right? And so imagine being at the start of a football field and all of y'all on the same page, but y'all got to get to the end of the football field to score the touchdown. So we all blew that $10,000. And instantly I felt convicted. I did not know what I needed next, but I knew that I would not get another chance to have that much money again. I knew that part because up until that point, y'all, I never had that kind of money. So imagine the first time $10,000 touch your hand, it feels a little different, right? You start thinking about all the things you missed out in life, and that's who I was. So when my tax season came, I said, I am not going to use this taxes like everybody else is doing. I don't know what it was that made me look down at the rest of the line and see where everybody else was and exactly where I was. And we all was in the exact same place. Now, my family members who I love, they went and did what they always do. They went and bought a car. Some bought a car. Some paid their debt off. Some went and bought furniture for a house. They just did all their normal things that we normally do with taxes. If you understand what I'm saying, just put me in the chat. If you know a story like this, someone like this, put me in the chat. I want to make sure that I'm talking to the right people. So I ended up with the $5,000 for my tax return. And guys, that is what I used to get started. I found a wholesaler who had properties, and I had him send me over properties. And the property was like, he was asking $8,000 or $9,000 for it. And I didn't have $8,000 or $9,000. I had $5,000. And so when I purchased that property for the $5,000, I thought I was instantly broke. That's what I told myself. I thought I was instantly broke because I had no more money. I had to wait till I had a $3,000 real estate commission to be able to fix that up. Now, to some of you probably like, dang, that ain't that much money. But when you getting it out the mud, when you don't have no handouts, when you don't have no inheritance, when you don't have no parental guidance, this right here is a whole lot to some of us, right? It was a whole lot to me, to be honest with you. And that's why I'm very conscious of being a good steward of what God has given me, because I know what it's like to mishandle the blessings that he's given. So I ended up investing that money. But what I didn't realize was at that moment, I moved up on the field about 5 yards. But I wasn't looking back to see what my family was doing. I just realized, I replaced the bill. I didn't go get rich. I didn't make millions of dollars. Do you know how hard it was for somebody making real estate commission where your income goes up and down, up and down, up and down to be able to replace an entire bill? My husband working 40 hours a week and getting paid like $500-$600 from Walmart overnight a week. Do you know how many hours that translate into? So when I was able to replace a bill and I went to the bank, and I was able to refinance the property, and my banker walked me through the entire process, I said, oh, this is how the wealthy do it. Y'all, they didn't teach me that in real estate school. They taught me how to be a well-paid, self-employed person. That's what they taught me. They never talked about investment opportunities. The broker never told me that I could be an investor. It was something about me watching what other people was doing that made me say, I can do it too. Somebody put in the chat, I can do it too. So when I adopted the mindset of I can do it too, baby, I became untouchable. I became unbeatable. I'm not here to flex. I'm here to tell you the $5,000 changed my life and I couldn't unsee it. So when I tell you, I look at the people that started at that exact same line with me. And then when I moved up 5 with my first property, my banker turned around. I got 48,000 after that. And I'll explain more of that on a 5-day property challenge. I'll go deeper into those numbers. But y'all, if you think $10,000 was a lot to me, can you imagine what $48,000 was? I felt like I could have bought a heart, a body part with that, with that amount of money. You understand what I'm saying? Like, that was a lot of money. It's still a lot of money. I don't play with that. 48,000 is still a few bands, okay? So I ended up getting a 48,000. And then, of course, that poverty mindset want to hit you back and be like, yo, Go to Marshalls and go get a Michael Kors bag. Go get this, these shoes. And girl, your children need some clothes. They've been wearing the same clothes for 3 summers now. Go get your children some clothes, right? We all have those thoughts that come back to us. But I said, I'm not going back. Somebody put in the chat, I'm not going back. I hated it when I was down. I hated it when I had to borrow money. I hated it when I had to sit in front of the food stamp office. I hated it when I had to wait on somebody to come save us from Hurricane Katrina. Somebody put I hate poverty in the chat. I hate everything about poverty. Me and poverty don't get along. I hate the way it make people think. I hate the way it make people act and the things that they make people do. I don't like anything about poverty. So poverty has to stay as far away from me as possible. So then I continue making the investments. So then I remember when I first got my portfolio up to 5 figures, and I was like, yo, this is what my husband making a year. What? So my husband come home frustrated from work because the boss talking to him stupid, and he don't have the type of experience that other galley hands have in the oil field. And so they treating him like he nothing, and they treating him like he's at the bottom. And I got tired of seeing this look on his face because this man had sacrificed so much for us, and he was working 2 jobs, and he was doing the very best that he can. And so when he came home and he was so frustrated, I looked at him, I said, baby, you don't got to go back. He said, baby, I got to be able to provide for us. I'm a man. I got to take care of the family. I said, you trusted me, your Proverbs 31. While you was over there harvesting, I was out in the fields gleaning. I was out in the fields doing the assignment that God has placed us on. So, baby, you don't have to go back. Proverbs 31 has covered you. I'm telling you right now, there's some of you in this room that's a Proverbs 31. It's time for you to retire that loved one that's been going out there plowing and getting themselves beat up. My husband, by the time he got retired, he didn't even know how to act. He was so bored. He was like, I got to do something. So he goes back into our properties and he do all of the maintenance, but he don't have to do it. He do it because now he have choices and he have options. I remember his family saying, don't support that girl while she going to school because she going to get smart and she going to make all this money and she going to leave you. Well, guess what? You fast forward 22 years later, we are extremely blessed. And when I say blessed, I mean in the marriage and in the bank account. And I ain't going nowhere yet, but he's retired. And I kept on going. But I'm not looking back at what they doing in my family because I understand what's ahead of me. So if I can get this to 5 figures, if I keep on pushing, then I can just get it to 6 figures. So then when I start making 6 figures in passive income, I said, God diggity dog, how big can this get? How much further can I go? But then I said, oh, I get it. What I'm doing is not normal. The SEC tells me that I have to tell you guys I have supernatural results. But how many of you know when you walk with God, you become undefeated? And those supernatural results become your results. They say I have to tell y'all that the results I have are not normal. What? I know they're not normal because God did it. So I'm not here to tell you you're going to get into this 5-day property challenge and you're going to become extremely rich and your life is going to change in the snap of a finger. No, I'm telling you that you're going to get in a room and for 5 days, I'm going to challenge you. How many of you are ready for a challenge in life? Put me in the chat. How many of you are ready to be challenged, ready to go into that next level? Last night, you saw me present a chance and opportunity for you to be able to have a seat at the table with me. I want you to be able to fly out to Louisiana and see it with your own eyes. If that's you, just drop some hands in the chat right now. That means you got to look for the hands because I've been giving y'all easy stuff to do. Go find the hands and drop some hands in the chat. You need to come on down to Louisiana and see where the soil is fertile. You need to come on down to Louisiana and see how we're buying bricks out here. You need to come on down to Louisiana so you can find your next business partner possibly. You need to come on down to Louisiana because you may have a deal and you just may need funding. Somebody say my funding partner is in that room. I have an opportunity and my funding partner is in that room. So because I know that that room has that type of power, you know everybody is not allowed in this room. I don't care how much money you make. If you are a jerk, if you are an idiot, if you are crabs in a barrel, if you are mean, if you are disrespectful, I will kick you out the room. I don't care what you have. I don't care what your title is. I have cut off famous people that y'all know, that y'all have danced to their music because they have tried to come in as if they crap don't stink. That's not the room this is. We all on the same assignment. We're all on the same mission. We're all doing the same thing to get to the next level. But I can tell you that in order for you to have access, you have to be willing to invest into your education. How many of us are willing to invest in our education? How many of us are willing to say, T, I'm willing to go all in. I'm willing to bet on myself. I've been here 2 days. I understand that the cost of being stuck is costing me way more than not moving right now. I understand what that looks like. What are you willing to invest? Put it in the chat right now for your next level. And don't make it up. You already know how important your education is. You know what you need. I don't know. I only can meet you where you're at. I only can meet you where you allow me to meet you at. No, you need more than your time. What are you willing to invest in your education? What are you willing to invest? I partner with people all around the world. I invest with people all around the world, but each and every last one of them have to bring some meat to the table. Is it right for you to get a seat at the table in a room that you haven't brought anything to? No, we all do the exact same thing. I tell you what I know we're going to do. I tell you that this room birth investors. I tell you that this room birth partnerships. I can tell you that. I can tell you that. I can tell you that the 5-day property challenge gives you speed to deals. It gives you structure. You don't have to try to keep on figuring it out piece by piece. It gives you access. The access alone is worth it. The accountability, the clarity, the confidence, the community, all of the things that you've been longing for, the connections that you've been looking to be a part of. Did you know that this was going to be an appointment for you today? Did you know that you was going to have to make a decision about, yes, I'm ready to accept the challenge? Did you know that? Am I able to correct you? Am I able to correct you? Am I able to be your coach? Am I able to hold you accountable and help push you to the greatest part of yourself that you didn't even know existed? The energy that you bring, the return on investment. Like, let's talk about it. You've been self-taught for so long that you think you winning and you're not. You're not winning because you wouldn't be sitting in this room seeking more information, still piecing it together, still trying to figure it out. Why haven't you invested in the lowest tier yet? Can you answer that question? Why haven't you invested in the lowest tier yet? Forget just the access. What about just being in the room? You tell yourself all of these excuses every single time, and then you wonder why you're still exactly where you are on the next webinar, listening to another speaker, trying to figure out if you're going to trust that speaker, trying to figure out if you're in the right room, trying to figure out if you found your tribe, trying to figure out if there's going to be opportunities birthed from here. Me and Derek just invested $25,000 into someone's business where I know that it's a potential, like probably 98% chance we probably won't see that money back again. Would you invest into something like that? Would you invest $25,000 knowing you wouldn't see that money back again? Let me see who I'm talking to. Answer in the chat. I want to know. Would you invest $25,000 knowing that there's a chance you probably would never see that money again? I didn't invest into bricks. I invested into his business. Can I tell you why it doesn't matter to me? Because I know my network will increase my net worth. So if I'm about to increase, if I'm investing right now into my network, that means these are people that is doing $200+ million a year. These are people who have acquired the DoubleTrees, the Hampton Inns, the Comfort Suites. I invested in my network. I don't care what his business does, to be honest with you. I invested in the network. That's the exact same thing. I looked at Derek and said, this is the best investment into a network that we can possibly get in to be able to get us to $1 billion in real estate assets investments. And because of that, I now have new friends on a new playground that's doing really, really big things at a very large scale that I'm not even doing it yet. Your coach not even doing it yet. But you know what happens when your coach invests that type of money to be in a room knowing that it's a 98, 99% chance I won't see that money back? I'm utilizing and building the opportunities inside of that room to be able to bring back to y'all the milk and cookies, if you would. Y'all saw that little bald head white man get on here today and he's talking above your head and you're like, what the heck is he talking about? And he's going all in and he's really thinking that you guys are really like, man, this is no. But guess what? I can tell the type of rooms he in because of the conversations that he have. So just because you didn't understand what he was saying does not mean that it wasn't important. It just means you need to increase your network so you can start having conversations like that. Right now, your network is showing you that you cannot even invest in your own education. So because you can't invest in your own education right now, you are in the wrong room with people. Somebody put wrong room in the chat. So that $25,000, I gladly gave it. I remember it was a time I used to clutch that $25,000 as if it was my life savings and that I bet not get this wrong. No, it's going to work or it have to work. There's no other option. I'm going to get in that room and there's going to be my next business partner, or there's going to be somebody who scaled $1 billion exit and they took a company public and they understand the Blackstone and the BlackRock and the Tricon real estate investing method. And they're going to be able to break down the different sectors for me. And I'm going to be able to digest it. And it may be a lot to digest at first, but because this is my new network, I understand that my net worth is going to go out that door. So that $25,000, I'm going to more than 10 exit because of the people that's in the room and what they already done. So what you're paying for right now is the access to your network. But once you get inside the room, it's on you to multiply that network to increase your net worth. Do that make sense? Have you ever had anybody talk to you like that to explain to you why we pay to be in these rooms? So when you look at yourself and you ask yourself, how long am I going to be stuck here? You're going to be stuck there as long as you possibly can, as long as you keep hanging around the exact same people that do not push you to be better and create a change in your life. That's how long you're going to be there. So I can't hang around ordinary people. I'm too extraordinary. I know who I am. I know everything I touch turns to gold. I got to be careful who I come in contact with. I also got to be careful where I go, because if I'm not, I'll end up with this familiarity spirit where things become familiar and then I get back into my comfort because this is where it's comfortable at. But I'm extremely uncomfortable over here because, can I just be honest? I'm going to break it down for you as transparent as I possibly can. When I went into the room where I increased my network to increase my network, I was a fly inside of a glass of milk. I was the only one that looked like me, because when I'm telling you, we are scared to invest in our own education because we're always thinking somebody is out to get us. There are people like Hunter and Tucker that's on this call that spend 6 figures on their education and they don't even blink. That was not normal for me. I never had nobody around me that paid for any other type of education other than college. So it really blew my mind when I seen these people investing the money like that. Brady, one of my friends who's in one of the programs that I'm in, he's a billionaire. And what Brady did, he did a raise for St. Jude, and he only wanted to do the raise with his group of friends because he did not want to put the money himself. He could have done it. But what Brady did is in 5 days raise $400,000 from people like me and other people in the room. He did not have to leave his network to be able to fund a procedure for one of his friends' children that is fighting for their life in St. Jude. So if you don't have no life-saving friends around you where you can call on and say, hey, let's get in this together. Let's put all of our money together and watch this grow. I'm telling you, you are in the wrong room and you've been wasting your time and you feel like you're going crazy because you know there's more in life that you want to do, but you can't seem to cross over to the other side. But I'm here to tell you it's because you keep choosing to stay in the same room. So until you leave this room and start going into a room where opportunity exists, when deals are being made, until you get out of your comfort zone and get uncomfortable being a fly in a glass of milk, you're going to remain in the exact same place that you are. I came here to break a curse off you. I didn't come here to be your friend today. I came here to end the cycle because that's what the assignment is for me. If real estate took me from being homeless up under a bridge, imagine what it can do to you, somebody who's working a full-time job but just need a change in environment. Your environment is rotten. Nothing grows there. It's barren. You wonder why you don't have no fruit. You wonder why you're not multiplying. It's because you're in a barren land. Your soil is not fertile. So you need to get up out of there, stop throwing seeds on top of the ground, and go to a room where you can fertilize those seeds. Go to a room where you can water those seeds. Go to the room where you can start harvesting those seeds. Go to a room where people are going to say, oh, you're out of water? I got you. Let me water your plant for you. That's the type of room that you want to be in. So I'm not here to sell you on your education. You here to make a decision on if you're ready to get out the room that you're in and go to the next room. That's what your decision is today. Derek talked about all the different type of things that we've developed. And look, I absolutely love the 5-day property challenge because I will challenge the heck out of you. I will push you to your limits. This is a room when you come in, you are guaranteed to leave change. If you put in the work, if you show up every single day, if you get on the calls, if you do what the experts is saying, your life will be changed in 5 days. Give me 5 days and I promise you this room you will be in will leave you rocked. How many of you are ready to be rocked? Put rocked in the chat right now. So what is the 5-day challenge? Some of you are new on here. You wasn't here yesterday, but we have 4 different levels. We have our titanium level, and this is the level I'm about to talk about. We have our platinum level, which is just a step down from our titanium, which means you don't get to come to the meetups, but you do get to be able to be on the Q&A and behind the scenes 5-day property challenge call. And then we have our VIP section where you get this workbook that I've created for you to follow along for 5 days. And if you just have $97 just to get in a room, then the $97 is your entry level. It's your gateway to say, at least I can see what's going on in the room. So at Titanium, which is where you get all of the access, this is where I invite you to come down to my studio. Come down and see my Underground Railroad map. Come down and see my Freedom Train. Come down and see my Wall of Women. Come down and see the Frederick Douglass, knowledge makes you unfit to be a slave. Come down and see the type of properties we're investing into. Can I teach you how to develop a mobile home park? Can I teach you how to develop a community? Can I teach you how to do more fix and flips? Can I show you ways on how you can capitalize on the investments that you're looking to do? If I can, put yes in the chat. Titanium allows you that access. It allows you to be on special training before we actually start the challenge call. You get an hour before. You also get the board game. You get entered to win a house. Somebody say, that's my house this year. Somebody say, that's my house this year. I see somebody that got my name. Her name is Terica, and she's an action taker just like me. She said, I can't wait. Time to book a flight, baby. Welcome. I can't wait to meet another Terica. Oh, baby, it's going to be Terica versus Terica. We're gonna do this together. I might send you to the north. I like Tericas. I don't meet too many Tericas, but the Tericas I do meet, baby, we spicy. But with the Titanium, we're going to be giving away a house this year. Somebody say, that's my house. Somebody say, that's my house. Go ahead and start using your words. Open your mouth right now, Elizabeth. That's my house. Come on, Vanessa. That's my house. Come on, Brandy. That's my house. Come on, Scott. You're not even in your camera, and I'm looking at you. That's how fast opportunities can miss. This is my house. I don't care. It's mine. I'm claiming it. I will be in Atlanta, Georgia. And I will be standing before y'all, and I'm walking on that stage because they calling out my ticket number this year. That is my house. Can you believe when you buy a ticket today, Titanium, Platinum, VIP, or General Admission, you're entered to win a house? Get in a room where your network challenges you. I guarantee you there ain't nobody on your team right now giving a house away. I'll wait. It's a different level when you're able to start giving houses away in real life. So when you become Titanium, that's an investment. That's a stamp. That's a seal. That's you saying, I want all access. I want the full experience. How many of you want the full experience? Put me in the chat. Come on, Elizabeth, put me in the chat. I want the full experience. Ariel, say, I want the full experience. Felicia, I want the full experience. Vanessa, I want the full experience. Scott, I want the full experience. Give me Titanium. What I love about Titanium is that you understand how important your education is, and nobody have to tell you that. You know you have paid way more on education than what you're about to do in these next 5 days for the property challenge, the 5-day property challenge. You know that already. When you invest into yourself, when you invest in your education, y'all, I still do it myself. I still invest in my education. I have coaches. I have mentors. I'm not the greatest all around. I'm still growing. I'm still scaling. I'm still building. I haven't hit 1 billion yet. Until I hit 1 billion, I'm not done. Until I'm on the front of Forbes, I'm not done yet. I want a kingdom-made millionaire. So when Forbes put me up there, they're going to say, what's my famous statement? And I'm going to say, God did it. I'll be the first to give God the credit on there. I don't care about all the accolades, the White Houses. Nah, God did this. I didn't have to do it the wrong way. I didn't have to do it the illegal way. I didn't have to sell my soul. I didn't have to do no blood governance. I ain't have to do nothing crazy. I did it God's way. period. I did it God's way. So with titanium, Derek told you guys, whenever you purchase your titanium, you're able to receive our underwriting tool that helps you underwrite deals a lot faster. How many of you would love to be able to underwrite deals faster? This is a tool that you need in your book, SAC, because this helps you move a lot faster through real estate deals. So if this is something that you need, put me in the chat right now. How many of you are working on your ticket? You see that link in the chat. You understand what this assignment is. You understand what's taking place right now. All 200 and plus of y'all on here, what are you doing right now? Are you working on it? Yes or no? Are you working on it right now? What are you doing right now? Am I working on it? Go right now to the link. Stop counting yourself out. Stop saying what you can't do. Go figure it out. I have to figure it out every single day. Every single day, I have to go and figure it out. But what I have to tell you is that it shouldn't be this hard to convince you on what your education is. So that's why I know once I close it and I say I'm done, I'm done. Because I understand you cannot drag a horse to water. That's what the old folks used to say. You can't drag a horse to water. But I like to say you can drag a horse to the water, but you can't make them drink the water. So I don't want to drag nobody. You come on this side because you're ready. You come on this side because you're thirsty. You come on this side because you want a new network. You come on this side because you want to be able to have a change. You want to be able to see a change, and you want to be able to be the change maker. That is the one that everyone knows. Dang, this is what you're doing now. This is what you're doing. Have these past 2 days been fire? Drop some fire in the chat. Titanium also get our project costing guide. This is only for titanium. So titanium, when you come to Lafayette, Louisiana, that don't count as your meetup for the one in Atlanta. You get 2 meetups. Okay. So you come down here, and we have some previous titanium ticket holders. They can tell you how amazing that experience is. I think they're going to be sharing that tonight. But we give you actual tools of what you need to be able to move forward. So titanium is $997. That is $997, and that is for all 5 days. That's for you to be in the room. That's for you to get the access. That's for you to come to Louisiana. That's for you to win the house. That's for you to get your board game. That's for you to be able to ask your Q&A. That's for you to be able to attend the Titanium Night only in Atlanta, Georgia. We got so many things that we're working on with that as well. But the ticket price today is $997. Can I tell you guys something? I do this twice a year. And when we go to PC Live, our Super Bowl of real estate conferences, it sells out every single year. Every single year. Before I can advertise it on the computer, everybody who has gone through the 5-day property challenge has a seat there. Every last one of y'all. So I need you to, look, lace up your boots, put on your backpack. We about to ride. We already know what time it is. We about to ride. We already know what time it is. These are 5 virtual days where we dive deep into the real estate investing world. 5 days. 5 days. $997. And we have payment plans. If you need the help with the payment plan, we have funding partners that can help you get funded. I pray that this be the last time you need a funding partner. I pray that this be the last time you need a payment plan. But if that's how you have to be able to get in the room, do it. But don't let your power get shut off. Don't you do this and put your family in a bind. I am not that type of person. Do it because you can afford to do it. That's why you do it. Do that make sense? Put yes in the chat. Do it because you can do it. So these are some of the past speakers that we've had on here, right? A lot of these are my friends. Some of these are paid people that we paid and just to come share their knowledge because they have a ton of knowledge and they are really, 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 really great speakers and they own really, really large portfolios. So it's really cool with the people that walk through those doors. You never know who shows up. So I know that everybody cannot afford titanium at the $997, but if you are titanium, if you got your titanium ticket today, put me in the chat. Put me in the chat. And then for all of our platinum guests, you one step away from titanium. All you have to do is get in at your platinum, and all you do is before the challenge start, upgrade your ticket to titanium so you can get all the experience. So if all you can do is the platinum today and then you come back and upgrade to the titanium, then that's what you do. If you can do titanium today, then do titanium, right? VIP to me would be the lowest level of what I would personally recommend because of the workbook. You do not get the workbook with the general admission. So if you're general admission right now and you want to upgrade, all you have to do is email my team. The link is in the chat. You need a workbook for the 5-day property challenge because it helps you move along a lot faster, right? But again, it's the entry level. It's a way for you to get in and hear the conversation. But if you want the workbook where you can download it and go print it out and follow along, then you have to be VIP. You need to be at the $297. I made these prices affordable because I felt like if you cannot invest in this level of education, you're probably not going to want to be in anything that I'm doing, because I know that there's going to have to be a sacrifice. And if this is the bare minimum and you can't make this sacrifice, then you don't need to be in the room. I'm looking at Mark, who went from protege and then he came to one of our inner circle invites. And then now him and his family is in the inner circle, which is our circle of investors. And again, I would have never known Mark if he did not come in the room. He'll be able to tell you how powerful the room is, because obviously he invested all the way to the circle of investors level, which is way more challenging than these numbers here. I promise you that. But I make these numbers and I look at the scenarios and I look at my audience and I say, I want to be able to have them in. But you know, when you free, you don't pay attention. That's the truth. When you free, you do not pay attention. This makes you pay attention. This makes you say, shoot, I invested my money. They better deliver what they say they're going to do. Y'all know how y'all be, right? And that's what this is, right? We deliver. So if $997 is where you are, then that's where you invest. If $497 is where you are, then that's where you invest. If $297 is where you are, that's where you invest. In general admission, if that's where you are, that's where you invest. I can't tell you how important it is just to do your own lane. Don't worry about everybody else. Worry about what you can do for yourself right now. That's what you need to worry about. That's what I want to see you do. That's what I want to see you push through. So tonight, before I get off of this call, I want you to drop in the chat right now who is joining us for the 5-day challenge, who have accepted the challenge. Put I have accepted the challenge in the chat. Put I have accepted the challenge in the chat. If that is you, if you have accepted the challenge and you know that you're ready to be able to go to the next level and you're ready for the 5 intensive days and you know it's going to rock you, put I have accepted the challenge. This is where you versus you come in at, because it's your old mindset versus the new mindset of where you're trying to head. That's where it gets you at every single time. And it's always over these numbers. But if you see numbers, you don't see the value that we add. And no matter what we tell you, you'll never understand what this means. But if you see the value and you don't see the numbers, you understand that this value is way more important and it will change your life forever. That's what you're saying right now. That is what you're accepting. So Michael is going to come back up here and he's going to break down these levels. And we also have a panel and he also have some giveaways for you guys. But look, make the decision. Get inside the room. Get involved. Get plugged in. Get connected. Change your network today. Somebody say I'm changing it today. The only way to change it is by accepting the challenge and getting in the room. That's how you change your network today. I love you guys. Thank you for having me today. Michael, come bless our people. Give them the terms and conditions of everything. I appreciate it, guys.
I love it. Thank you, T, so much. Everybody put thank you, Terica, in the chat. I'm going to bring up our student success panel in just a few minutes. But listen, I want to give a shout out to you all that have accepted the challenge. I saw several of you all say, I'm accepting the challenge. I'm accepting it. I'm jumping in. And I want to shout out Tabitha Newsome. And we had Dwight Spence and Cherie Brown and Terica Carter and Sherelle Sutherland and Ronita Turner and Talora Thatch and Monica Lewis and Sherman Dean and Maria, many of y'all jumped in tonight. So congratulations, congratulations. But I want you all to really see the power in this. I'm going to share my screen. I don't think you all truly understand the power of this titanium ticket in particular. Now, despite what ticket you get here today, despite what ticket you get, you're going to get a ticket to our 5-day virtual event and our conference in Atlanta. You get two. But when you jump in as titanium, y'all, she just dropped the bomb on us tonight, y'all. You get 4 events for the price of 1. Wild, crazy. So I'm going to scroll down and show you all this. When you come down here, there's going to be 4 ticket types. Terica gave you a glimpse into them, but the titanium is the highest and best experience because you get 4 tickets. You get the 5-day property challenge, where you can spend 5 days virtually from home, sitting on your couch, learning about real estate from A to Z. We go over how to analyze your finances, how to set goals with real estate, how to identify your profit path, how to go and raise capital, how to build a team, how to build systems. We talk about all those things. But not only are you going to get the 5-day property challenge, you're going to get a conference ticket in Atlanta the weekend of July, the last weekend of July, the last weekend in July. We got the conference happening. Atlanta, you get a ticket to that. But then not only that, you're getting 2 networking events with Terica if you get titanium. A Lafayette meetup where you can come down to Lafayette and hang out with Terica, see properties, spend some time with the team. And then on top of that, you get a exclusive titanium networking night with Terica at the conference. 4 events for the price of 1, y'all. This is wild. Now, you can do the platinum. You can do the VIP, the general admission. You can upgrade at any time. Now, I can't guarantee when or, if we'll sell out, okay? Because like Terica said, we do sell out all the time. But you can upgrade anytime by emailing our team. If you want to start out down here, get in where you can fit in, because every single ticket you buy tonight, you get 2 events, a virtual event and a ticket to the conference, y'all, which is wild. And you can start jumping in tonight. You can jump in tonight and start networking. You can get in the Telegram chats, the Facebook groups. It's wild, y'all. It's amazing the level of information you're going to get. Okay? So, yeah. Somebody, Alicia says, how does this apply to the inner circle? So if you're in the inner circle already, you already went through the challenge. You're good. If you want to jump back in again, we've had many people, Brittany will tell you, we've had many people jump in and they've gone through the challenge multiple times. If you've never been through a challenge, I recommend you do so. We've had thousands. We've had over 5,000 people go through this event. We've had over 5,000 people come through this event. And I would say 99% of them that attended, showed up, went through all day, would say that they robbed us because we gave them so much information. So go here, and when you click on these pages, you can go to checkout, okay? Now, I saw several of y'all asking, do you have buy now, pay later options? Yes, we have Klarna, we have Afterpay, Affirm, Zip Pay. I'm going to be honest, y'all, one of those are going to get you right. If you want to stretch this out, if you want to stretch it out over 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, go try Affirm, Klarna, Afterpay. These are options that there's no impact on your credit score to see if you get approved. You don't have to accept it if you do get approved, but you can at least just go apply. You owe it to yourself just to at least go apply and see if you get approved for it, in my eyes anyway. So you can go on the second step after you put in your personal info, after you put in your name, email address, your phone number, all of those things, you can go in there and select your payment options, or you can just pay in full with a credit card. Maybe you're here and you're like, hey, I just want to go ahead and pay with my credit or debit card. You can do that, okay? Now, I know what people are gonna be saying. Well, Michael, what if I need to talk to a spouse, significant other? Jump in, talk to them ASAP. Talk to them tonight. Get in. Show them the site. Walk them through it. Share the vision with them. You never know what could be possible when you join together and do something like this together with them. But check this out. I'm going to show you all the buy now, pay later options available at checkout. Check this out. So when you're on the second step of the checkout page, you can see we have Apple Pay, Afterpay, Affirm, which can stretch it out up to 18 months. We have Cash App, Klarna, Amazon, Zip Pay. You have so many buy now, pay later options. So all you're going to do is, if you want to test these out and see if they're a good fit, all you're going to do is you're going to select which one you want to choose. Afterpay, Affirm, Klarna, they're all pretty similar, but if you get denied with one, go try another one. But you're going to select one, then you're going to put your name in here. You're going to check this little box right here, and then you're going to click complete order. When you click this, what's going to happen is it's going to redirect you to a new page to finish your application. Now, you don't have to, like I said, you don't have to accept it if you get approved, but they'll give you the terms. They'll go through and show you everything, but you can go here, click the checkbox, click complete order, and it'll redirect you to a new page. So they'll ask you a few questions like your address. They'll ask you a few things just to verify who you are and if you qualify for those terms. Okay. So while you guys are working on that, Bettina says, do you get a visit to the Lafayette property with the platinum package? No. The only tier that the Lafayette meetup is in the titanium. So titanium, you get the titanium only meetup at the conference and the Lafayette, but no other ticket tiers get access to that. All the other ticket tiers, you get the 5-day virtual event and the conference ticket. Okay. And somebody says, I can't get to Lafayette. It's okay. If you can't get to Lafayette, no harm, no foul. Come to the virtual event. It's all good. It's all good. All right. So like, I'm going to go ahead and somebody says, how do I get into Inner Circle? The Inner Circle is closed until next, I think maybe next year. I don't know. We close it. It's only open like once or twice a year, but you have to, a prerequisite is you have to go through our trainings before you're ever even considered in the Inner Circle. If you're like, Michael, why in the world would I have to go through a training before you even be considered? Because we want to give you the foundation. We want to know you're serious. We want to know you're committed. So before you even go to the Inner Circle, which is closed, by the way, so it's not open, you have to go through a challenge experience. All right. All right. So this is what I want to do. I'm going to do something a little special while you guys are working on it, because I know there's several of you guys that are here and you're like, I'm working on it. If you're working on it still, just put working on it in the chat. If you're like, hey, I'm getting my ticket tonight, I want you to put working on it in the chat. I want you to put working on it in the chat real quick. All right. So this is what I'm going to do. Brittany on our team has done an amazing job, and she's found some individuals who are here tonight and they want to come up and share their story. But I'm going to do this a little bit different. Normally we bring in people one at a time, and I want to bring up not one at a time. I want to make it panel style. I want to bring up some individuals who, have been in the program. They went through the classes like you did. And I want to ask them some certain questions to give you guys confidence, but to also just let you guys know that it's possible. Everybody just type it's possible in the chat. That's what I want for you guys. I want you to know it's possible for you to do this. All right. So this is what I'm going to do. Britt, I don't know if we still have everybody here. I'm going to try to find the people if I can. I'm going to see is Janine or Jay in the room, or Tazara. Let me know in the chat if we have anybody here. Let me see who we got. I'm going to type in the chat. Let's see. Miss Wiley, you up in here? Let's go. What's up, Jay? We got Cycle 2 alumni. Welcome up. We got Miss Wiley in the room. What's up? What's up? What's up? This is gonna be a bomb panel. Who else we got? Who else we got? Janine is here. Okay, let me bring up Janine. Y'all, this is everybody say what's up? What's up, fam? Everybody just put a what's up, fam, in the chat. This is y'all, some of our current and past
What's
Inner
up, fam?
Circle
Hey, everybody.
members.
What's up, fam?
What's up? What's up? What's up? So, y'all, I'm excited. Are you guys excited for this, y'all? Jay, you good? You ready?
I am always, Mike.
I love it. I love it. So, y'all, everybody, welcome up some amazing students and clients that went through the program. These are individuals that went through the same exact classes like you did. And so I'm going to ask them some questions, and I'm going to start with the ladies first, Jay. All right, cool. So we're going to go through, and we may have a few others. I may bring up in a little bit, or maybe tomorrow. But Janine, let's just start off by everybody just taking 30 seconds to introduce who you are, where you're from, and what kind of investing like you're dialed in on right now. All right. So Janine, who you are, where you're from, and what kind of path you chose in real estate.
My name's Janine Turner. I am from Lafayette area. Not I live in Lafayette, but I'm originally from all over the world. My dad was in the military, so that's a whole nother story. And my investment path is buy and hold for now.
Buy and hold. Anybody in here want to do some buy and hold? Let us know in the chat if you're like, I can see
Mhm.
buy and hold working for me. Let's go, Janine. I love it.
Mhm.
T, you're up. And then Jay, we're going to pass it over to you.
Hi, my name is Tezra Wiley, or Tez. I am from Jacksonville, Florida, and the method that I chose was the Burr method.
Burr, let's go. Let's go. Anybody love that conversation Terica had yesterday about Burr investing?
Mhm.
Thanks, Tez. We appreciate you. Jay, let's pass it over to you, brother.
Yes, sir. Hey, Michael, this is Jay Allen, man, out of Nashville, Tennessee, and my method has been buy and hold as well.
Let's go buy and hold. So I'm gonna ask you guys some questions real quick. So I want to make sure they get like the people that stayed at the very end. We started almost
Mhm.
3.5 hours ago. I want to make sure they get some game. And I want to start with Miss Tez because I think she actually closed on a property. Did you just close on a property? I think we did. What was that, like January,
Yes, in
February?
Mhm.
January.
I love it. Everybody
In
put congrats in
January.
the chat. Like, everybody put congrats in the chat. That's awesome. So Miss Wiley, let me
Yes.
know in the
Thank
chat. So like,
you.
did you have like any real estate experience before coming in with Terica and learning this game?
No, no, I did not. I
What?
was a
Let's
beginner.
go back to that. So you came in, you went through the property channel, but you had no experience. And for some people, jumping into real estate can be scary. When you started learning about real estate and started, going through this process, what were you feeling? Were you scared? Were you excited? Like, kind of walk through that, like before the property challenge, because there's people making the same decision today that you had to make at one time. They're like, "Hey, I don't know if this is for me. I think it is." But what was that feelings like
Mhm.
before you jumped in?
I was very nervous. I knew that this is the path God was leading me into, and this is something that I had been battling with doing for a long time. I would start and stop and start and stop, and after I
Mhm.
joined one of Terica's webinars, I had joined previous ones before, but hers really resonated with me, and it gave me the motivation that I needed to get out of that mindset of fear.
I love it. I love it. You're a little nervous, but stepping out, taking action got you where you are today. I love it. So kind of tell us, and I'm going to pass it over to Jay. I got a question for you because I know you dove into some partnerships, right? You got some partnerships. I'm
Yes.
going to pass it over to you in just a second. But Tez, real quick, I would love to know a little bit more about that deal. So you went through the property challenge. Like, how did you find this deal? Like, was it something that, just kind of fell in your lap? Like, kind of talk about the sourcing of it and that process and like what the play is with that property.
So me and my partner, we found it on a foreclosure auction. We won it through a foreclosure auction. Once we were able to take possession of the property after a certain amount of time from winning, then we were able to go and actually look at it. So we noticed that it does need some work done to it. We've had contractors and everything look at it. So our plan is to rehab it and to rent out the rooms.
Let's go. So you're doing like room rentals where like you're renting out individual rooms?
Yes. So
Oh,
our
that's dope.
target audience is actually youth who are aging out of foster care. But we may also transition into a home for veterans as well. So we're still working out the kinks, but we'll definitely be presenting our contracts to the coaches for them to look at for our contractors.
I love it. I love it. Always going back to the coaches. That's amazing. Everybody put
Yes.
congratulations in the chat. That's phenomenal. I'm gonna come back to
Yay.
you in just a
Thank
minute.
you.
I'll come back to you in just a minute, but I want to pass it over to Jay because Jay, I'm going to unmute you real quick. I believe you kind of went the partnership route. You've done some stuff with partnerships, and one thing I love about the environment that Terica has created is that this is more than just another event. It's truly a community and a family of people that are pushing each other to the finish line. So let's talk about what's been what you've been able to accomplish, Jay, and let's talk about those partnerships. Kind of share a little bit about your story. Did you have experience in real estate and what's happened since the property challenge?
Yeah, my background is in finance, Michael. Lending. I've been lending for 20 years now as an underwriter, credit, things like that. But no real estate investment experience prior to this program. I bought my homes, personally, just buying them for myself, but never actually as an investor. So came in into the property challenge with one door, my personal property, and now I have 25 doors as a result of partnerships.
I love it. So let's break down that partnership because some people are like, what in the world is a partnership? Like, what do you mean partnership? So Jay, let's talk about the power of the community and like how did you guys structure that deal and what does that look like? So I want to open up and expand the people listening to this because they probably think one way about real estate. Let's expand their mind a little bit. How did that deal come about and how did you guys come together and form a partnership?
Yeah, so it starts with just, I mean, it starts with networking, building a relationship, building rapport, and then obviously discernment is important. So this is an environment of people that praise, and it doesn't mean everybody's going to be a good partner for you, but you kind of have to discern that, right? Get to know the person first. I wouldn't advise, don't let the shiny object syndrome take over. Like, don't get so emotional and excited about the money that you sign a contract with somebody that you don't really know too well at all. The person I partnered with had a deal on the table and they needed more funding. And I had the funding, and the bank was not, their underwriting process was a little bit more difficult based upon the actual location of the properties that they wanted to finance in that package. So after talking to this person, understanding the deal, seeing the properties, seeing the numbers, and then just knowing as a person, I decided to go ahead and jump in. I had some money that I had from actually from a car accident. And like Terica said before, versus blowing that money somewhere else and putting it in the bank and getting 0.001%, it made sense for me to put that money in the bricks. So that's what I did.
Smart money allocation. I like that. I like that, man. Everybody put congrats to Jay in the chat, getting the deals done. I love it. I want to pass it over to Janine because Janine's been hard in the paint, making offers, evaluating deals. But Janine, I want to ask you a very specific question, right?
Sure.
Um, Number one, kind of share your occupation if you don't mind with the individuals before you came into the challenge, like kind of what your
Yes.
occupation is or was. And then also what has this community enabled you to do that you wouldn't have been able to do if you didn't have the community? Does that make sense? I mean, I don't know if I asked that pretty
Absolutely.
clear. Okay, cool.
Absolutely. Actually, I'm a family nurse practitioner, always an RN, but I'm a family nurse practitioner. I've been a nurse for 28 years, an MP for 16. So, yay, that's really getting it in the
That's
paint for
amazing.
real. And it's different color paints. But anyway, um, I knew nothing about real estate. My mom was a real estate agent in Vegas when her and my parents lived there. I just knew she bought, sold, and did deals. That was about it. Built their house and all that kind of stuff. But as far as knowing real estate, none whatsoever. I always was interested in it because I saw what it did for my parents. And I just knew also too that it's something that I needed to do. And I know if anybody's been late night TV back in the day, Carlton Sheets, buy real estate, no money down, way back when I had a on V4 real estate, and me and my husband did buy that. Had no idea what we were doing and kind of put it by the wayside. I did invest in other courses and so forth, but it was never everything that it cracked out to be. And I always felt that individuals were gatekeeping. They were like keeping the good information and just giving us enough to say that they gave us some information. Um, I saw Terica on, I think it was also to an Instagram ad, but also from Investness a couple of years ago. And when I saw her story, I was like, wow. And I was like, oh, wait, she's from around here. And I was interested, and I signed up like everybody else for the 5-day property challenge. I did titanium, and we were invited to go to Atlanta for the mansion meetup, and I just couldn't unsee what I saw then. And I'm Cycle 5, by the way, but the main thing that this whole community, family, and process has taught me is the mindset of, I don't know anybody else who are nurses in here or in the healthcare, but we would gauge what we can buy on the number of shifts that you work. And so we're always trading our time for money. And I knew that I needed to do something different because I can, I can only do it so much by getting it in the paint. So I was like, okay, there's got to be a better way. And you cannot you can't outwork your money more than anything else. Your money needs to work for you. And real estate is the prime vehicle for this.
I love it. And I love how you talked about, and this, I don't think it's just a nurse thing. I
Mm-hmm.
think a lot of people, I know you all specifically, how many shifts do I need to, take to pay for
Yeah.
this? I think it's everybody. I think a lot of people in here have done that before. Anybody relate to Janine, you've found yourself saying, hey, how many more
Mm-hmm.
shifts do I need to pick up? How many more hours do I need to work? Listen, y'all, we got to learn. And one thing I love about Terica is she teaches people how to move from trading your time for money to
Yes.
trading money for money and
Yes.
trading assets for money, right? And so,
Absolutely.
Janine, is that the mindset shift you're starting to have, it sounds like?
Oh yeah, most definitely, most definitely. And initially, I was kind of scary about the numbers, but the numbers are just numbers, And I've gotten to the point that that's not my business. The numbers are just numbers. If the deal makes sense, it makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, move on. So, I had to get out of the number game and get out of my head with that and realize that that's not part of the strategy. Just run the numbers. And if the numbers work, the numbers work.
I love it. I love it. The numbers are
Mhm.
numbers.
Yeah.
I
Numbers are
love
just
it.
numbers.
The chat like that one. Latoya said that. I love it. And Kevin
Mhm.
says that's an old mindset we got to get rid of. I love it. So
Oh,
this is
yeah,
this
most
is cool, y'all.
definitely.
I love it. So, Darlene, congratulations, Darlene just jumped in at Titanium. Everybody put congrats, Darlene, in the chat. But I got a couple
Congrats,
other
Darlene.
I got a couple other questions for y'all. So let's go back to Tez real quick.
Okay.
And then I'll come back over to you, Jay, real quick. But I got a question for you all, and I don't want to keep you all night, but there's people here, and I know there's a few people. This is how it always works, Jay. I know it. There's people right now, they're on the property challenge site. They've been on the property challenge site since yesterday, maybe since the last webinar we did. And they just got this feeling like they should do it, but they're just not sure. Like they just feel like they just haven't had the faith to take the leap. So, Ted, this is what I want you to do. Speak to that person right now. They're like on the site. They're like, I'm almost there. I'm almost there, Janine. What would be just one piece of advice that you would give them, knowing that you went through that same experience? You went through the 5 days. You're now in the inner circle. What would be one piece of advice you would give that person that's sitting there right now making that decision, yes or no?
Exactly. Just do it. I would say it's very, 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 very important to be in the room. Some amazing things happen when you make sure that you are in the room. Um, this is an incredible program. Like the things that they have taught us that we have been able to work on and implement, the way they have your mind thinking about your strategies and your buy box and basically how you're going to go about doing these deals to get to your ultimate goal is more than I would have ever thought that we would have received. Like with the deal that I got, we learned the importance of partnership. With the deal I got, I actually had a partner that we went together and we got this foreclosure and paid for it. But a lot of people say, oh, I don't have the credit, I don't have the money. I didn't either. My partner actually had more capital than me. She was able to front, the money for this deal, and then I'm paying her back. So it's a partnership. It's the things they teach you on, you know, getting over your fears of thinking that you have all these boundaries and you don't. So just do it.
Let's go. I love that. I love it. And I keep hearing the word partnership. Anybody else hearing the word? Thank you, Tez, so much. Anybody just keep hearing this word partnership, partnership. You can see like that's part of our core values is like how can we collaborate? Terica, Jay, and Janine, Tez, if she has a deal that she needs to partner with people with, who's she go to first? The inner circle. She goes to her community. That's the power of this, what she's built here, and I just love it. So, Jay, I'm gonna ask you the same thing, and I'm not gonna repeat the entire thing, but the people here, they're making that decision. What would be your one word of advice to them?
I would say, if you're on that button and you're hovering, you got to remember this. If what you were doing worked, it would already work. And then number two, when you start fighting for the life that you want, the one that you don't want will take over. So you have to be intentional. If you aren't being intentional about trying to be wealthy, you may accidentally end up broke. I mean, it happens so quickly, it happens so fast, and the environment will change you before you change your environment, but you have to choose your environment wisely. And guys, if you look at my moniker in the background, I'm cycle 2. That means I came in 2022. I'm still here for a reason. So I mean, if there's any indication, as to the impact of the community as a whole, I hope that gives you some reprieve that I'm 4 years into this thing. I'm not an employee. I am here because I want to be here, and I love to be here, and I'm still learning, I'm still growing, and it's just so much bigger than just real estate. The people that you're going to meet may end up being lifetime friends. So if you hover on that button, just remember this: people always, when they say who wants change, this happens, right? Then people say who wants to change, this happens.
Ooh,
Don't be that person. Like if you want change, then be the change that you want to see.
man. That's good. That's good. I love that analogy, right? And I love everybody's putting in the chat, be intentional, be intentional. I love it. Jay, thank you so much, man, for coming up on this late Tuesday evening. We appreciate your brother for coming up. Everybody put thank you, Jay. But last and definitely not least, Miss Janine. I don't know if you guys saw it because some of y'all may have been multitasking, but whenever I first initially asked the question, she held up this little piece of paper. She wrote down on a piece of paper and she wrote on and it said, just do
Wait,
it.
wait, yes, do
Just
it.
do it. But I'm gonna let
Yeah.
you, I know it's that simple, but I'll let you go, Janine. What would you say to those people that are here right now? I see there's many individuals working on it, like Tracy, and I see Denise is working on it, and many others. So what would you say to those folks?
Just do it. And I know people may say, well, that's easier said than done. I don't have this, I don't have that. One thing that you're going to learn is that you're going to change your language in this community. That you're going to change your language, period. And so instead of saying I don't, figure out how can I, because for the simple luxuries and pleasures in life, I mean, just like Terica was saying earlier, $1,000 iPhone, that's your ticket right there. You know what I'm saying? You know, purses, shoes, things that don't create value in your life and don't add to your bottom line. So we kind of need to shift and get away from that and just do it. You know, it's not taking a bet on yourself, not taking a chance on yourself, because there's receipts. She has proof in concept with all of us that's still here. Jay's 4 years in, I'm 2 years in, I'm cycle 5. So just do it and you will not regret it. You will not regret it. Now you have to do the work,
I
but
love
you
it.
won't regret it. And if you want to see something different in your life and a change in your life, you can't stay the same by you can't change by staying the same. You have to do something different in order to get something different and achieve something different out of your life.
Mm,
So
thank you.
just do it.
I love it. I love how you said ask how can I, right? And I think several others in the chat like that as well. It's like don't say I can, but how can I? How can I make this possible? And now that's powerful when you truly sit and internalize on that. So everybody just put thank you, Janine, in the chat for coming up. Last but not least, Janine, thank you, Jay, thank you, Tez. We appreciate you all for coming up here and sharing your perspective. You all from getting their first deal to joining partnerships. It's phenomenal what's happening inside of our ecosystem. So listen, this is the last call before we close out at the end of the night. If you're jumping in, I see Miss Duffy's working on it. I see Reva's working on it. Go to thepropertychallenge.com, save that link. The last thing I want to happen, team, is I don't want you all, I just don't want them laying in bed at night and then it's midnight and they're like, okay, I'm ready to jump in. They forget the link. So go save the link to your computer. Save the link on your phone. Go to thepropertychallenge.com. Save it because you all like it's time. It's time. It's time for you to move. You've been praying, you've been saying, God, send something my way to help me. And these opportunities been passing up, like just going right in front of your face. Just grab an opportunity and lock in on it. Lock in on it. Make 2026 the year that it finally changes. You 2025, you thought that was going to be the year. 2024, 2023, man, this is going to be the year. This is going to be the year. Let 2026 be the year where the bull stops and you actually do something about the change that you've been desiring. And it starts with taking that first step. This step may be scary. You may say, well, Terica, Michael, what if I jump on out and I fail and I fall right on my face? Well, listen, that's the wrong thing to be asking. You should be saying, what if I take a step and instead of falling flat on my face, I fly? What if I grow and I fly higher than I ever have in my life? That's what you should be asking. Yo, you're about to step in. Everybody who's jumping in tonight, I just want to salute you and congratulate you, because you're about to step into a community that actually cares, a community that actually supports, a community that actually equips you. And you're about to step into something you really don't truly understand the power of just yet until you experience it. So, thepropertychallenge.com, jump in if you're getting your ticket. Tomorrow we have day 3, you all. Day 3. I don't want you to miss it. It's the grand finale. We have Ruby Tinoco coming in tomorrow to teach on how you can go flip properties and build systems that really help you live your life to the fullest. We have Kenneth Smith, Smitty the GOAT, aka is what we call him as well. He's coming in to talk about business funding and credit. We have Terica coming back for a round 3, y'all. So make sure you're in the room tomorrow. Don't skip out on it. Don't skip out on it. Listen, if you have questions about the property challenge, you need clarity, you need help, we have an email where we can help get you in. You can email info@tericalinsmith.com. If you're like, hey, I need to split a titanium purchase over 2 cards, we got you. Just email info@tericalinsmith.com. Any emails, any texts you've received up to this point, reply back and we'll help you. Reply and we'll help you, y'all. So listen, I'm going to go ahead and let the team end this night out with a video. We'll see you all tomorrow for day number 3. Let's maximize this opportunity, y'all. I can see many of y'all working on it right now, so we're going to salute you and say congratulations ahead of time. But thank you for being here for day number 2. Terica and team, let's play this video and let's close out the night.
You're one deal away from cash flow. Let me tell you something. I bought a mobile home for $250. I moved it inside of the park. I now rent that mobile home out for $550 a month. Took me about $3,000 to fix that mobile home up, and the tenant has been there for years. So I'm telling you now, you're just one decision away from your cash flow, one decision away from your forever income, one decision away from buying the block. All you have